Yes, people, big up to all of you. Welcome back to Chelsea Perspective. Welcome back to another Blue Morning Show on Chelsea Perspective. And today we will address some news items or some non-transfer items and some also, I don't know whether to call them basic news or not, but it's all about Chelsea Football Club today. And maybe let's just use the term Chelsea-related content because we'll talk about Jose Mourinho. We will talk about Ian Matson, then we'll talk about a few other players. We have a lot, quite a lot lined up to talk about. But today we're supposed to actually talk transfers and then look at the statistics of Chelsea players and see where who's leading what department. And apologies for yesterday. A lot went wrong. And I was thinking we were going to start. I postponed it thinking it didn't happen. I was so mad that I nearly started breaking stuff in here until my wife says, calm me down. But that's by the way, we move on from that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes still go along. Well, once again, welcome to Chelsea Perspective. I hope you're all doing well. Let's get straight into it. Yes, people, big up to all of you. And once again, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I wholeheartedly offer whatever suits your time zone. Thank you so much for finding the time to join me on the Chelsea Perspective. Once again, I appreciate you all. Let's get into the chat and say hello to the people there. I appreciate you all. And big up to you, Mitchell boy. Nice to see you. The host, the gist, the haste. I appreciate you finding the time to join. And Joshua Dan, I appreciate you, brother. Big up to you too. And Olisa Obi says wishing Kunku will be back by weekend so that he will play against Boro. Rumors are that he's pushing to be available for selection. The question is, will the manager risk selecting him? Because now we'll have to handle him with utmost care as if it's a glass. But nice to see you, Obi. Obi, that's the second Obi we'll have in the house right now. And I have my bro, Constantine Dante. Nice to see you, brother. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Thank you so much. Hello to you too, Mitchell boy. Let's see. And Santiago Muno, my assistant, is in the house. Always nice to see you, Santiago. I hope you're doing well, and I appreciate you finding the time to join the show this particular morning. Let's see who else do we have in the house. Keep dropping the like, and that's JC. Nice to see you, JC. Much appreciated, brother. Thank you so much for finding the time to join the show. Let's see anything else here. Anybody else to say hello to? We have quite a lot lined up to talk about today. And what happened yesterday? A lot went wrong. I was so mad. I was going to start breaking my systems, but my wife had to calm me down. But it's all right. I just don't want to talk about it right here, right now. As the captain of the chat union, we will be doing an external investigation on the MIA of coach. Yeah, and I got even more pissed when I saw the comments in the chat. People were waiting up for the show to get started. Big up Kuchila Dante. Big up to you too, brother. I appreciate you finding time to join. If found guilty, we will have a poll to decide the outcome, whether coaches should be sent out on loan, fired, or whatever the community decides to do with coach. Let's see. Morning to you too, Maya. Nice to see you, Maya. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. I hope you're doing well. Let's see what else we have here. Coach wearing a leather jacket. It's suspicious. Not really. No, this is this is not a leather jacket. I'm just wearing it like that. I just had to put on something on the black inner shirt that I'm wearing, so it doesn't look like I have no regard for the community, and just I put on whatever I like and come onto the show. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go. Look. Let's go. Yes, the special one is free. We'll talk about that. I think that's the first item we'll talk about. Let's see what else we have here. Anybody following? We need a striker, and that's lawyer. Should I call that lawyer Ens Jang? Sorry if I'm butchering your name. I can see that clearly. It's not a name that I'm familiar with, but let me just call you lawyer. Or we do need a striker. I agree with you on Instagram, but I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Without wasting much of your time, let's get into addressing the items we have lined up here. And the first one here, yep, you guessed it. Probably you all saw the news. This here says, breaking Jose Mourinho leaves Roma as a Portuguese boss parts away with the Serie A side. He was fired. That's the language here sounds as if he decided to leave Roma. But here's the thing: there's a pattern to Mourinho's stay at all the club that he's coached. He hardly stays beyond 3 years. And at Roma, how long has he been there? I think at most 2.5 years. I can't quite remember, but because he's been there 2.5 seasons, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. At most 3, but he hardly stays 3 years at all the clubs that he's managed. Porto, maybe beyond Porto, because I'm not well acquainted with how long he stayed at Porto. We do not need a striker. Poch comments. Yeah, but for me, I think otherwise. Until proven otherwise by the players we have available, I'm not too sure about that comment. Maybe it's just him just trying to be, you can say, as cautious as possible, not to unsettle the players he has available for selection. Roma are bankrupt, so they part ways. They are also not going to trigger buyout clause of elephant in the room. That exactly. I'm going to applaud you because that did not even come to mind. That did not come to mind because clearly the fact that he's left Roma, he's the one, he wanted Lukaku at Roma, and Roma might decide against, you can say, the next manager, although Lukaku, you could argue he's done relatively well for Roma. Chances are the next manager wouldn't want him. And if that's the case, then it simply means Jose Mourinho's departure from Roma compounds our problems because Lukaku will still be a Chelsea player, and except if the contract has a mandatory option for them to purchase him. But I can't quite remember what we were told was on the contract. You could say I'm not too well acquainted with the contract anyway. I hope that's not going to be the case because, yeah, it will mean that we're not going to be spending that much this transfer window because Lukaku most likely will come back at the end of the season. But thank you for bringing that up. This is not on Jose. Like JC said, Roma financials cannot afford him anymore. He was patient, probably wanted to grind it out with them, but probably got some treatment. He probably felt like, okay, even though I've accepted to work with them, even though they're broke, even though they don't have enough to buy me the players I want, and they think they can talk to me anyhow. I think he's that sort of person. He knows his worth. That's another way to see it, and doesn't take nonsense. That's another way to see it. And sometimes you can argue. You wouldn't be wrong to argue that he's a difficult person to deal with because, once something happens more than 3 times, then it's a pattern, in my opinion. And once it's a pattern, it's not a coincidence anymore that he doesn't stay beyond 3 years at any given club. Jose is a character who will lead the bandits and backbenchers very well. Game after game, we will be mugging teams with wins. I love that. Yeah, but how long will it last? That's the issue, and that's where I have a concern. And if you ask me, I'd say Jose will not last beyond his first day at work under the current Chelsea ownership. He will take quite a lot. So you can say some sort of contract that will get him to stay, no matter the difficulties you can say he faces in terms of dealing with the new ownership. I don't see that happening. In all honesty, I don't see that happening. I don't see Jose Mourinho walking under the new ownership. It's until it happens, then I will believe it. But right now, I'd bet on that, saying I don't see it happening. But that's just me anyway. And I'm going to say this: as much as we think we have a very good squad, the truth remains, if we hire Jose Mourinho, we'd have to spend quite a lot before he can guarantee you trophies. We've seen that happen before. During his second coming, he told us, called a squad at the time, Little Horses, and we needed to make a few signings the following year for things to happen. That's not to say he's not going to be winning games with these kids, but he's not going to be okay. He's not going to be satisfied with them alone. He's going to ask for a few more signings. Let's see. Do you think we will finally have some discipline if Jose comes? Discipline will be assured. Discipline in terms of player behavior, player commitment. I think in terms of discipline on the pitch, how we get yellow cards and all that, I think that could actually get worse a little bit. That's because Mourinho demands, you can say, I don't know what language to use. You see fight from players, and these young players don't know, you can say, how to be. If they say anything like fighting cautiously, just mean not to get things, not to overdo things, or not to do things to the extent of getting carded. These kids don't know how to do that. So under Jose Mourinho, in terms of discipline, it could get worse a while before a bit before it gets better. But that's just my thinking anyway. I could be wrong. I'm not too sure. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people, and quickly, I want to appeal to those of you who are watching, but for one reason or the other, you're not able to participate in the chat. Just know that we appreciate you. And that's because you watching alone does go a long way. And I want to say thank you for that. But here's the thing. We want to ask you for one more favor, one tiny bit of favor, which is to take a second and drop a like on the stream for us to help us garner more likes, which in turn would trigger the YouTube algorithm and force it to push the stream to more people who'd be interested in the topics we'll have lined up here. We'd really appreciate that. You give Joseph funds, he will win. Yep. And do I think the owners will be ready to spend anything close to what they've spent already? I don't think what we know the owners want to do. What we know that's as much as we know the direction the owners want to go right now. I don't think Jose is the right man because we're seeing the calls for the club to sign experienced players. We're signing even more young players. So that shows you they're not willing to change. They have a vision and they believe that vision will work for them, and they're not looking to change. If anything, yeah, chances are they sign a few young players here and there just to balance things up a bit, because they probably by now must have realized that with kids, it would take time before they gel and start winning. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go along with. Sincerely do appreciate you all finding the time to join the show this particular morning. If you're following the show on Instagram or X, formerly known as Twitter, or on Facebook, just know we sincerely do appreciate you. But we want to ask you to please kindly help us garner more likes on whatever social media platform that you're following the show by liking the video to help us garner more likes. Because the more likes we garner, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and push the stream to more people who would be interested. There's there's a misconception that Jose demands big players. But here's the thing. You could argue, I think you could argue, but his talent ID is excellent. We didn't pay, did we sign, if we signed Ivanovic under his reign, it was just for 9 million pounds at the time. DJ Drogba, we didn't break the bank. There are players we didn't break. Michael Essien maybe was quite a lot at the time. But he was still demand a lot. He was still demand a lot of changes, which could be an issue, not necessarily big players. At every club he has been since Porto, he goes for 2, 3 experienced killers to add to the team, and a transfer mentality and a pragmatic ruthlessness. That's him. He can be, that's the word, ruthless. He can be that. To a boring extent, to you can say to an extent that the fans at one time, at some point, will start complaining. But that's the least of my concern. If the owners can deal with him, if he can also, you can say, learn from his past, so that maybe find a way, find common ground to make things work out between him and the current owners. Let them give it a shot. I'm all for it. But do I think it will happen? I don't think so. Coach, we just need Jose to change the mentality, leave a winning foundation, and then he can leave. We will be good. Yeah, and it won't be bad. After all, here's the thing: just help us stabilize the ship, help us get back to where we used to be. But chances are, Jose is the sort of man that every move he makes is a calculated step. Chances are he's going to go to Saudi Arabia next, where he will earn a lot of money and then maybe later come back to Europe. Yeah, chances are he'd do that, but we never know. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go along with Jude Mesola. Good morning to you, too, brother. I hope you're doing well, and I sincerely do appreciate you finding the time to join the show this particular morning. Yes, we can expect the first question in Porch Espresso. How is Jose doing? Our owners are talking to him. I don't see such happening. Nobody will ask him such. He probably blows up because he looks like he's quite emotional from what I've seen so far. Etiquette 10, nice to see you. Baba Drama, I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. I don't care even if it takes this young team and we don't win straight away, but he will sort everything. He sort everyone and everything out. Make the changes, please. Bye bye, Poch. Good luck, because I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. Plus, I get it. Reports are out, and within cheat, within what's it, the profitability? What's it called again? Under the English FA, we didn't break the rules, which is a huge thing, but probably we're close to. And I don't think we'd have enough to sign Jose and still buy the players we want. So I think one will happen. If we decide to bring Jose back, maybe we're not going to have enough money to sign players this January transfer window. But I don't think it's happening. And I'm going to say that again, no jokes. Jose don't need to spend as much as owners has had wasted to deliver results. I use wasted because they had their pants put down in the market. And do you think they'll bring Jose in and Jose will be the one to decide on all the players they'd sign? So yeah, there are lots of issues here to look at, lots of factors to consider while talking about the possibility of Jose Mourinho coming back to Chelsea Football Club. Mourinho did not break the bank for Deco, Fabregas, and Costa, and I agree with. I think JC first mentioned that, and I agree with it. I mentioned a few names: Drova, Ivanovic, also Matic. Also Matic's case, he was at Chelsea again. He graduated from Copam before going to Benfica and coming back to Chelsea and all that. He didn't break the bank even for Pedro also. But that's not. But you still sign a few players here and there for him. But there are other factors to consider that I don't think. I don't think it will work. I think probably after the first day he'd quit Chelsea again. Jose knows where his next job is already. Yep. That was why I said his every move is a calculated step. It doesn't make mistakes. Chances are he goes to Saudi, earn a lot of money, and Saudis wouldn't mind given he'd be a blockbuster signing for them. And chances are they do that. And then he make a lot of money and then leave Saudi the next 3 years or two. Kachila, it used to be a CFC DNA, solid defense, thou shall not pass. Yeah, it doesn't have to be pretty. Games end 1-0. If we score first, we're winning. Yeah, I remember that. I enjoyed that anyone who understands will appreciate a solid defensive performance And they could say, which is how Mourinho builds his teams. Yep. Probably Saudi, most likely. That's how I see it. Mourinho might go to Newcastle United. That's another one. But Newcastle, do they have a lot of money to spend? We're hearing that they are actually they have they have a financial situation and cannot spend too much. So we'll find out. Poch ain't going, guys. The press said it too, and Iqbali giving him time. I don't think it's going anywhere. But we need to have the conversation. And let's hear you. Would you like to have Jose Mourinho back at Chelsea, and why? It'd be interesting to see what you have to say there. That Newcastle team fits Jose like a glove. You could argue that they fight a lot, and they defend as a unit too. They have no passengers in their team. So I think, yeah, I think he would take that team, and the speed at which they counter. So you can say some percentage of Jose Mourinho's DNA is already in them, so he'd take them. Castle will win the league when they get Jose. How soon? I don't know. But I think Saudi most likely will be his next destination right now. Owners cannot sign Jose Mourinho, though, because they are not thinking in that line. They are probably looking at Rooney, Thomas Frank, and the rest. Maybe you never know. But here's the thing: one thing is sure, Jose Mourinho isn't coming to Chelsea right now. Imagine calling Rooney to manage your club. I don't think that happens. No disrespect to him, but nah, I won't take him. I will not either. I'd rather him and Frank Lampard, they go find a store space at a cow town or cow market or farmers market, in my opinion. Poch getting time till the coach way better becomes available, possibly. Yeah, way better. And also, you say will be maybe at the time the players we have right now will be mature enough, and that the incoming manager will look at the team and say, "Yeah, I think I can make do with this squad." I don't understand, coach. He goes everywhere and win except sports. What does that tell you? It's their thing. You can win at sports, and they were stupid enough to fire him 2 days, or was it a day before a final? I don't know what they were thinking. Even he laughed at that. He could have won them that, and then maybe they fire him later. And people call him a garbage coach. I think the reason I'll come back to that in a bit. Last time he had a proper budget to spend was at Real Madrid, and look at the foundation he left them. I think I agree. Yes, then in terms of what's the first part that I wanted to answer? I think people call him a garbage coach. Is that for me? The only issue I have with Mourinho is that he's not been progressive enough. Sometimes he comes across as football has moved on and he's still stuck in his old ways of approaching football. But beyond that, I think he's still a winner. He still finds a way to win. It doesn't matter. Look what he did with Roma. For instance, even though they didn't spend that much. I mean, I love to have Joseph back, but not now. Poch's contract is not longer. Let's see how far he goes. I think it's simple logic there, and I think the owners will do the same thing. Big up to you too, Mitchell boy. I said hello to you when you weren't in the chat here, but nice to see you, brother. When you get a chance, do share the link to your YouTube channel so people can go check it out. Let's see. Blue Cup should buy a club in Italy or Portugal and give it to Jose Mourinho. I don't think he would take such project. You'd have to have some special talent there for him to accept to coach Chelsea's, to become a manager for Chelsea's satellite club, any of the Chelsea's satellite clubs, because chances are there'd be multiple in probably by the time we get to the first quarter of the year. Coach, we have that sports mentality guy in our club. No, I refuse to believe that's the case. I think things will change. And that's because I try to be as objective as I can. There are multitude of reasons why we're seeing what we're seeing. And yeah, he hasn't been perfect. Lots of questions, in my opinion. Big up to you too, DJ. Nice to see you, brother. And Chad, when will people realize it is bad when a team give their manager the dreaded vote of confidence? Most likely, Poch will get sacked. Things are always opposite with Chelsea, and not just Chelsea. every time you start hearing in the media that the manager has time, that the owners have decided to give the manager time, that they're not looking to fire him, usually not a good sign. But you will wait until you start hearing the manager himself saying, "My job is safe. I speak with the owners every day, and they've given me the assurance that yeah, I shouldn't worry." That's when you know the manager is at the point of getting fired. But right now, on the verge of getting fired, maybe. But right now, that's not the case. It's just the media. Him. I haven't. I don't think I've heard him say anything to the effect of the owners giving him the vote of confidence or assuring him that his job is not on the line. Once he starts saying that, then you know he's getting close to getting fired. Sorry, when owners are not team, my bad. I think I understand. I understood that was what you meant to say there. I'd love to have Joseph back. Joseph back. They bring they bring stability and discipline in our team. Plus, Jose knows how to find a talent and he knows how to utilize them. The biggest issue is how long will the relationship with the new ownership last? I think just maybe at most 2 days. But that's just me speculating. I'm exaggerating there, of course, but that's you can say that's designed to get you to understand. I know you understand what I mean by that. These chances don't come up often. A coach like Jose Mourinho available, he might wait to have a break until the end of the season. That would be perfect. Waiting for Poch to fail or succeed. More pressure on Poch right now if he's concerned. That reminds me of when Rafa Benitez was our coach, and it turns out Mourinho was available at the time. People knew chances are he'd come back to Chelsea, but with the new owners, I really don't see that happening. Win-win scenario for us. Let's see what happens. Big up, Ty. Nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. You know what to do. You have some delicious videos you've released of late, and they are doing well. You can share the link so people can go check it out. Win-win situation with facts, but let's see what the owners want to do. Give Mourinho a chance, even as an interim manager, and he will transform the mentality of the crop of players we have right now. I don't think Mourinho would take a job as an interim manager. I don't see that happening. It would take some convincing to get him to accept a job as Chelsea's interim manager. In all honesty, I don't see that happening. Keep dropping likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. If Jose Mourinho for Chelsea get Jose Mourinho for a third time, that means the Bally's project has failed and it's desperate. You can say, and Jose Mourinho's return will be, you can say, out of desperation. That's believable in my opinion. Winner John, nice to see you, Mr. John. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Coach, the soundboard for DJ. Yeah, I missed that. Appreciate you finding time to be with us this particular morning. Yep, let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go a long way. And we have to move on to the next item we have lined up. Let's go. All right, people. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. You never know something. You never know something new for Yose. Like our project, he might like something different for a change. Chances are that's the case, but there's no way to know until you can say until he decides on what he does next in his coaching career. But I feel like he will most likely go to Saudi Arabia because I don't think we can pay him right now, in my opinion. Plus, the sort of clause he'd have on any contract he signs with any club probably will be redonkulous, in my opinion. Not that I am saying Poch to be sacked, Kutila, before you come at me. No, you are entitled to your opinion, brother, and you know that. So I'm not gonna start preaching. I'm not gonna start fighting against you, fighting with you for your opinion. No, you know I'm not like that. I like people to express themselves, and if I have any counter opinion, I'd present it immediately and not just suck up to yours and say, okay, fine, I agree. I can say it, DJ Poch out, and you're saying, yeah, you have every right to say it. And Ty has shared the link to his YouTube channel. Please go check it out. Check out his latest video where he reviews Cole Palmer's season so far. Go check it out. The links are there. Let's see. He's shared another link there. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Let's help him get to 2,000 subscribers as soon as possible and get him, more importantly, monetized so that he will be encouraged to do more. I have first class ticket to problems here. Yep, you're entitled to express yourself. Nothing to be concerned about. Everybody in the community, you do have the right to express yourself. All we ask of you is just to keep it civil. If that makes you happy, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. This particular report here says, as far as I know, Ivan Toney is not quite the right sort of profile Chelsea have been looking for. So maybe they go for something a little bit less recognized, a little bit less high profile. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, that's a question there. They will be surveying all of these possibilities, but I'm not too sure what they're going to do anyway. Let's see how you, Phil. Thank you for finding the time to join us on the panel here. The question I want to ask you: would you like to see Jose Mourinho come back to Chelsea Football Club? If your answer is no or yes or whatever your answer is, do let us know why. Let's hear you, Phil, and thank you for finding the time to join the panel.
Big up, coach. Big up everyone in the comment section,
You too, brother.
and big up to the panel as well. Uh, for me personally, at the moment, I think it's too early for us to actually say Jose should actually come. You know, we've seen what Jose has done for the club because he has done a lot for us, and it's difficult to actually say he shouldn't come, but there is also some factors which I can actually consider not allowing Jose to come at this
Mm-hmm.
particular moment. Of course, he has won us some trophies. He has done well for us when no one actually believed in us and all that stuff. But at the moment, I think we're in the early stages of the rebuilding phase. And if I know correctly, Jose is one of those coaches who doesn't usually have time to work with all these younger players. He usually likes working with more established players who can actually be ready to go players, whereby, in case you want to be winning games and you want to be winning trophies, he wants to be working with those players. And basing on our players that we have currently, I think almost like three-quarters of our players, they are just young players who don't have as much experience. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know anything because we bought them like that. But that's why we are actually in this phase where we are rebuilding, in the fact that at least when we start with these younger players, when we start with them now, they have the time to grow up together and see how they can actually play. Then with time, they can actually grow up to become bigger players. I know like our project is much more different to, let's say, the Madrids and all that, because when you look at how Madrid has been almost building their own team as well, they started with these older players like Modric. Then they actually bought some newer midfielders as well. Like if we look at players like Chomini, players like Bellingham, Valverde, these are younger players, but because they had the chance to actually grow up with some of these players like Cruz, players like Modric, it means they have a much better window of building because they actually see something out there compared to some of our players that we have right now. Because if you look at our project, we only have Sterling and we also have Thiago Silva. Those are the only two senior players that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at some of the players that we have, our attackers, they don't have anyone they can actually emulate that attacking power except Sterling. If we had maybe players like, for example, Benzema, at least the players they will be much more happier to actually go ahead and emulate what they actually see. So, with all this being said, I think having Jose right now is just not the perfect timing. Let's give Poch some time, at least until end of the season first. If we can actually see how it does, then with time we can actually see how everything goes. Then, in case he fails, then there is no point, admitting that you failed as our honors. Then you just have to put him in. I think that's much more logical compared to just rushing.
Yeah. Bobby, big up to you and thank you for finding the time to join us on the panel this particular morning. Before I come to you, just two items. Tony is Championship and Premier League peak. For real, I don't rate him. Let's see what else we have here. I am hearing that Graham Potter is being considered for the Roma job in the summer. Oh dear. I think from Fabrizio Romano, he mentioned it's an Italian manager. He mentioned, I think he mentioned former Napoli manager, but I don't know anyway. Bobby, you've heard that, and the reason why we're even talking about this is because that's how we operate here. We see rumors, we bring them up here, discuss this with the community, discuss the rumor with the community, and try to come to a sensible conclusion. Bobby, you've heard people. I'm quite sure you've seen a lot of people calling for the club to go for him. For me personally, I don't think it happens. I don't think it's a match that will work. For so many reasons, in my opinion. But let's hear you, Bobby. What do you think? Would you like the club to go for him? And do you think it's gonna work if that happens? But big up to you. More importantly, I hope you're doing well.
Yeah, big up, guys. Big up,
Big up,
guys.
brother.
Um, Coach, you see, longevity has a way of cementing a mindset. And once you change from that longevity, it takes a seismic shift for you to get used to the change. Manchester United have not really recovered from the longevity of Alex Ferguson. Arsenal, have they recovered from Arsene Wenger? I think the only reason they've recovered from Arsene Wenger is because he gave them a period of mediocrity, which the fans are thirsting to get away from. But Alex Ferguson left Man United at the peak of their powers, and they are still to this day trying to readjust to his absence and chart another path. Chelsea Football Club had 20 years of magnificent success under Roman Abramovich. It was interesting how the former speaker sort of compared us to Real Madrid. I think that's a complete misnomer. I agree with a lot of what he said apart from that, because unlike Madrid, Chelsea is a club that was stopped in its tracks. People need to remember the holistic picture of where we are now. In the narrative that is Chelsea Football Club, we were stopped in our tracks. We were brought within weeks, months, days of what's that word? The word where you're almost bankrupted as a club. We were brought within days of that, and the ownership had to take place very, very quickly. They came in. We all know how difficult it was for them to get into a transfer market that they were not prepared for, because they were unable to prepare for. And at the same time, they had to rebuild an entire squad to get rid of the FFP issues left by the fledgling board that Roman could not really monitor directly, but had to monitor remotely, and left certain people in charge that to this day everybody knows my opinions about them. I'm not caught up in the Kool-Aid of appearances and things. I say it as it is when it comes to my club. But he did what he could. He put the people he could trust. You couldn't blame him. You couldn't blame them, really, because they would do what they would do. So the club had to make some drastic decisions. And upon all the abuse and insults and the attacks they have got. Yesterday, the fit and proper processes or fair process of the Premier League gave them their full approval. To me, that is a massive justification that the club is being run in the right way, is being corrected, is trying to rechart its course. I'm coming. I know you want me to answer your question. Please indulge me just for a few more
No,
seconds.
no, I'm listening. Don't worry. Go ahead.
Uh, and so the club is being recharted, and it's being recharted in an entirely different way. The blueprint now at Chelsea Football Club is not about instant success. It can't be. Why? Because of the rules of FFP, and the rules of FFP, which are even more stringent. We've seen the figures. You can't spend more than 35 million a year in excess. I'm just summarizing what all that means. And you are required to give account after 3 years, which I think it takes you up to what 105 million in 3 years. In a nutshell, this is the current rules, and that current rule from next season will be altered to within 70% of your revenue, which is even tighter for everybody. You have teams like Arsenal not wanting to spend because they don't want to get out of into FFP problems. Newcastle teetering on the edge of FFP despite being owned by a nation state, as is Man City, as is Chelsea, who nobody wants to credit them with their intelligence and the cleverness within which the new ownership studied financial fair play, as they said they would. They said, we're fully aware of financial fair play. Remember the interview by Todd Bowley when they first took over? We're taking it very seriously and it will be our guide. And they have fully worked within the boundaries of that thing. They went into amortization. Everybody was screaming helter skelter because they couldn't think of it. Jealousy, jealousy, jealousy against Chelsea as usual. Chelsea amortized. They banished amortization to 5 years. Chelsea said, okay, fine. The rules have changed. We will change with the rules. You want to change the rules? We support you changing the rules. Everything we're doing is by the book. Coming to Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho is not the Chelsea coach for now. He's too quick fix, short term. We're not into that anymore. Maybe XYZ down the line once we've established a team, and maybe, and I say a big maybe to this, maybe if the ownership decide, okay, it's time to change our approach, he might be under consideration. But right now, he's not the guy. He's not the guy. Let's stop living in the past. We've been, shall I say, I wouldn't call it a trauma. We've been institutionalized by the Roman era, such that many of us can't think beyond it. We still think Jose Mourinho. We still think Romans buying players at the peak of their powers, paying exorbitant wages. That's not the Chelsea model now. We're done with that. We are charting a new course. We're going for the best young stars in the world, but it takes time to build these into a team. We're starting at a lower wage bill rate. It takes time, and we need to stay the course of this time. We're doing well. People are so impatient and people don't know how to build. It astonishes me. This sort of get rich quick or die trying society, if you've watched the movie, everything must happen now. Microwave, microwave. Sorry, no. We have to build solid for the future. A house that's built on a rock stands. A house that's built on sand is easily blown away. We're building on a rock, and the rock is the current program that everybody, well, not everybody, but you know what I mean. You know, the
Mhm.
thirst to attack Chelsea. Oh, they're doing this, you're doing that. There are pains that go through building like this. But I can assure you, when you do it in the end, you will enjoy a series of success that I think will surpass what Roman did. I really believe that. Look, we can't have Jose right now. We need to stick with Pochettino. We need to stick with the plan. It's not gone wrong. People think it's gone wrong because of the turbulent time we've been through. We've been through turbulence because of our injuries. I sat on
So,
a
Bobby,
podcast.
overall, you don't think it will work. You don't think Jesse will work.
Not now. And in fact, because he's so short term and is outside the realms of where we're going now, it seems not ever. It seems his time is done with us. He'll probably end up somewhere like Newcastle, as usual, be successful in the short term like him. And as usual, like him, after 2 years, 3 years, if you're lucky, he's gone. That's Jose. Jose works for himself, not for the club. But we are different. We are building something. We're building something quite extraordinary. We're building something magnificent. And guys, when this thing is fixed, yes, there are some tweaks here and there we still need to do. A striker, a left back, a centre back. We know this. We know this. Fitness, players playing fit, not losing them at the beginning of a season. And that punishes the team. We know this. The team getting used to playing in the Premier League, maturing. We know this. We need a coach that is able to have the capacity to deal with this. At the moment, may I say this, I can't see beyond Pochettino for this job. At the moment, he hasn't done anything wrong. Okay, he doesn't have all the right calls. I know that. You know that. We're watching him. But honestly, in terms of somebody that can manage these kids and can get a tune out of them, it's working. It's working. Why are we panicking so much? Oh my goodness! I wish there were more people that support Chelsea that have been through the journey that I've been through and have seen the dark days that I never want back, by the way. But it teaches you that look, when you're building something, you go through some pains. At least we're lucky; we're not financially strapped. Our issue is to stick within FFP, not to even not to worry about breaching it at all. Some clubs don't even have that privilege. So, in summary, Jose Mourinho right now for Chelsea, no. We need to stick with this plan, stick it through. Rome wasn't built in a day, but believe me, when it was built, what a magnificent empire it was.
All right, let's hear. I'll give those in the chat back the microphone and let's hear what they have to say before we move on to the next topic. And we have Yosef with cement physicality. Hey, what is your name? JC? That is serious brown nosing, right? Look at him, wants to be on the good side of Bobby. Let's hear a fact, man. If Ukraine and yep, the conflict didn't happen, we wouldn't be here. Most likely. Big up, Bobby. Please also remind people in case rivals are watching these and any Chelsea fan that started to support us in 2004, that we had a success in trophies of winning before Roman bought us. I don't think we should get into that argument right now, but keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go along with 21 likes. We should be doing way
But
better
it's
than
true,
that.
Coach. It's true.
Sorry?
We
Yeah,
were
I know.
winning
But I'm saying I
trophies
don't think we
before.
should be arguing that right now.
That's
Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go along with, and the captain of the house, it's your job to keep reminding people every time Bobby talks for us. Things come to mind. A song from when I was younger, Tupac, "Me Against the World." That's Bobby's mentality, and I sometimes you can say that works. That's Mourinho's you can say strongest you can say secret I don't know what language to use. His approach is always, you can say, designed around the me against us against the world mindset. In the immediate future, Jose might turn to punditry. Imagine him commenting on CFC performances. Yeah, I'd like to listen to that. Big up, Bobby. Greetings to you from the chat. If anyone knows the song, I know the song. Yep,
Coach,
I
every
know the song
time,
quite well. I'm a big Tupac fan. Yes.
Coach, every time Jose did punditry, they were scared to attack Chelsea.
They
Jose
don't bring him
really
on
stuck
all
up
the
for
time.
us. No, he
Mhm.
doesn't let them at all. And he promised us that. He said whenever he's there, all these people that are always attacking Chelsea, he will put a stop to it. So
Mhm.
if he wants to do punditry on Sky, I have no problem with it whatsoever. He will shut up some of those people and the things they say.
Yeah, so just give me a few minutes. I'll come back to the panel again. Let's catch up with what we have here. And this here, which one is that from DJ? Where do I have it? It says, however, I still don't go with what these owners are doing. Okay, doing to our club. DJ seriously frustrated. Coach, stop trying to send people to that. The Lord is watching you. My shepherd is watching me. I agree. He cannot help it. He will be forgiven. Just go away. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes will go a long way. Yep, he's there. Let me see. It looks like I have to scroll to the very bottom to get something aligned here. But Bobby, I am tired of seeing inconsistent results. It needs to change. I think Bobby also is tired, but I don't think I wouldn't say Bobby is tired. Bobby probably, from what I've heard him say, he recognized that, we have kids. Kids will always be kids. The results, they will be inconsistent. But he believes he's seeing progress as much as me. I do too. Even Bobby and I are in the same gang. He is in the same gang with DJ and Roger. We can't build if no counties has a foundation. Yes, then that changes. We should try and be as objective as possible. Let's see what else we have here. All I am saying is we cannot build a team with kids. We need experience to help our young players. I think we'll sign a few experienced players here and there, and we actually do have experience in this team. But unfortunately, we do use experience and age interchangeably. So sometimes we don't actually realize we have experience because we have young players. But maybe the term should be that we need more experienced players, or we need experienced players in certain departments on the pitch. I went through the dark times. The 80s was bad. Let's see. It must be balanced. I am predicting another L for the panel in today's game. No other time. Yeah, look at you. No other time. Convincing W for the comments of 4-0, and we win. We'll find out what happens. We will be 2-0 up halftime, just like you say the last time. We'll find out. Let's see what happens, Coach. Where? Okay, there you go. If that's what you want. The God of Frogs. Nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Let's see what else we have here. Me Against the Wall. Such a fat track by my favorite old-time rapper. You can say my favorite rapper of all time. He's a poet too. I know you know that quite well. Jose Mourinho. Wow, how many times? But real talk, Jose, you got questions to answer about Salah and KDB. It depends on how you see the departure of those two players you just mentioned. That's arguably the two greatest players of our generation, and Jose fumbled the ball. I don't think he did. You've just chosen to blame him. Jose is my great grandfather, man. For real, really. Okay. We all love him. I agree, but do I think he will walk under the new ownership? I don't think so. Jose already answered that. Let's see what else you have here. He needs to answer again. I don't think he owes us any answer to that because those players wanted to leave at the time. They wanted to be playing at a time where we had better players, and Jose actually wanted to give them opportunities to play. But they want to be starting week in, week out, where we had the likes of Lampard, Michael Ballack. I think Ballack also, it depends on which of the two players specifically. He needs to answer. I don't think he owes you that answer. He's already answered that. Gallagher, what would you attribute a Chelsea performance to? Just say if I speak, I am in big trouble. My Geffer, just go away. Salah and KDB came in where we had Hazard and Oscar. Okay, let's see. Plus Salah and KDB weren't getting game time. Yep, they wanted to be playing week in, week out. I think Jose already answered. I think he's done that. No need to actually bring that up. Honestly, if KDB and Salah and Dean leave, does everyone actually think they'd be? You say they'd be that good? Chances are they won't play that much. Chances are staying would have been problematic for them at the time, given the players we had. So them leaving was a good decision to them. But we're Chelsea fans, we want to keep every good player. we had within our ranks at the time. It's a Chelsea. We sell stars. Look at Jamal Musiala. Yeah, players leave for one reason or the other. Jose recently said KDB wanted to leave and he wanted him to stay. Salah was benched by Oscar, Mata, Hazard, and rightly so. Just look at the stats at the time. Yeah, I wouldn't even argue against that. I think I knew before time that those players wanted to leave. People don't know the future, so speculating whether or not KDB and Salah would have been good isn't really a good point. It isn't, not in any way. Hi to you too, Richard Moni Beckers. Nice to see you, Bobby, and all the panel. Nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Jose has no explanation on KDB and Salah. They were not good enough for Chelsea at that time. Yeah, and that's the truth. And they were not really to be paid. You can say Jose at the time didn't have the time to, you can say, to be playing them week in, week out ahead of the much better players we had at the time. Best moment this past week was Pep destroying the Twitter myth that coaches teach special patterns for scoring in final third. He said the manager walks up to the final third, then player magic takes over. Execution, as Roger would say. In my opinion, Roger would be proud. If he read that, he'd bring it up anytime we argue about that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 25 likes. We should be doing way better than that. I get it. It looks like it's a slow day so far, but we can do much better. The more you like the video, the more the YouTube algorithm will be triggered and forced to push the stream to put people who'll be interested in the topics we have lined up. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up here, but let's see what my bro JC has to say. Our present team is full of players at same level, which Salah and KDB were during Jose's time not ready. It's simple as that. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. Let's go. Saying that Chelsea made 80 million euros offer for Victor Gyokeres. Sporting wants the 100 million release clause. Chelsea would bid again before the end of the month. I don't think I believe this. And when I saw this, I was tempted to make a YouTube short with the news, and I didn't. And thank goodness I didn't, because the following item here simply says that Chelsea has not made a bid for Victor Gyokeres. There's no interest at the moment, and that's Nizaki Salah. And the previous report is from an outlet called Record Portugal. I saw that, and I've had issues believing them and releasing the video based on their report. It turns out it was horse doo-doo at the time, so I was cautious. And this report, says is saying, we didn't make any bid for him. There's no interest at all at the moment. It just didn't make sense that we'd go with 80 million pounds plus. I see the club paying Victor Osimhen's release clause rather than pay that much money for him. But that's a small opinion anyway. Problem was Salah was competing with Hazard, William, Pedro, who consistently came out to game with good performances at the time. So we are for sure Jose will transform that backline. So because we're talking about a new topic right now, I'm going to scroll to the very bottom. So what do you have to say with the reports that we went in with 80 million euros plus for Victor Gyokeres? I didn't believe that when I saw that. Chelsea tax, I'm tired. Yeah, but probably absolute hot dog. I see. We've addressed the following report, which clearly stated that we didn't do anything as such. We're not even interested in the player right now. Hi, coach. I watched the game against Middlesbrough many times. Not once we've done. Okay. To create chances. Okay, I get that. We've changed the topic. I am going into a meeting. All right, talk to you later. For what a fundraiser for Jose Banner. Go do it. Let's hear you. What do you make of the report suggesting that we did bid 80 million for Victor Gyokeres and Sporting wants the 100 million release clause? Chelsea could bid again. I don't think if Chelsea know, if we're well aware that he has a release clause of 100 million euros, that it would try to get him for 80 million euros, and that's because probably by now we should know how Sporting operates, how Portuguese clubs operate. He's not going to come cheap. They have a release clause, so why go with 80 million euros? It just doesn't make sense. I don't know if anybody on the panel want to speak about that. You have the floor. Victor did absolutely nothing in the championship, so the fact that we are actually scouting this player is ridiculous. It's beyond ridiculous. Scouting him is okay, but paying 80 million euros is ridiculous. Maybe chances are that Sporting are actually sponsoring these, you say, these narratives to see if we're interested, and when we come, maybe they're willing to sell him for at least 80 million euros, knowing that he's not worth 100, which is the release clause on his current contract. It just doesn't make sense in so many ways. But if you're on the panel and you want to talk about that, you have the floor. Coach, please contribute to JC's banner fund. Don't be stingy. I'm not doing that because it's not going to work. It'd be a waste of money, and you know that. Now, this is the reason why I don't follow Twitter journalists. I think they're full of it. And I think Simon Phillips
Exactly.
better.
Exactly. If you want to make a story, just pin Chelsea's name on it and add a few zeros. That's what that's about.
Yeah. So chances are they're being paid to push the narrative. So if Chelsea are interested, they'd go to Sporting with at least 80 million euros, which I don't think that Gyokeres is worth that right now. I'm not judging him by the fact that he was in the championship last season. Yeah, it happens. But for 80 million euros for Gyokeres, for me, it's just too much. But that's just my opinion anyway. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes will go a long way. Victor is an 80 million to us, guys. A waste of money. Before I start saying anything against my club, I'm quite sure we're not going to pay anything close to that. But that's just my opinion anyway. I'd rather loan Benzema and set up a pre-agreement for Osimhen for the summer. That's how I would do it. That's an excellent idea. I'd have to say that's actually the first delicious comment of the day, and this is for you. Yeah. And we have rather get washed Benzema and aged 36 million from Saudi League for less can fast fix to our striker problems. I think he will. Chelsea, nice to see you. You heard it here first. Coach does not rate the brown envelopes on Twitter. I don't. You know that. I hardly, every time they have something out, I dissect and analyze and try the best I can to come to a sensible conclusion. That's how I operate. We get Benzema for a short term. Will that happen? I don't know. Everything, all rumors at this point. No thanks to Benzema. And here's why I'm going to say no thanks to Benzema. Go ahead, Bobby.
The only problem that might be with Benzema is that, what are his loan terms? Remember, the loan terms for João Felix was well in excess of 200k a week. What will Benzema cost? Is it worth that for about 6 months? Is it even up to 6 months till the end of the season? So that will be the sticking point if we're looking there at all. But I wouldn't mind seeing him on loan. I think he would do well for us on loan. He will end up being like Giroud that we missed so much. I don't know. And the thing about getting him on loan is that he's at such an age that if he does well, you could either extend the loan or I think he'll be a bit too much to buy. The Saudis won't really be that keen on selling him. Certainly not on the cheap.
Here's the problem here, Bobby. The former Wolves coach, that's now Nottingham Forest coach, he was the coach at Al Ittihad, and he had issues with Benzema's attitude. He left, and the new manager I'm hearing also does have issues with them to the extent that he didn't go to camp. They had a training camp. He was absent, and the club was trying. The club tried to cover things up by saying that his absence was due to something to the effect of a storm stopping him from traveling to the camp or something like that. I can't quite remember, But I think
Mm.
my concern is that he has attitude issue. Maybe the
Yeah.
big boy trying to be the main guy, where uh, the manager, you say, don't want that. The current manager doesn't want that at Al Ittihad. If he has an
No, we don't.
attitude
We don't
issue,
want that.
Chelsea isn't the place for him.
No,
Uh,
we don't want that. We've
we
got
don't
too
want
many
him. Yeah.
youngsters. Yeah, we don't
Mhm.
want that.
So I think the club will consider that if, in fact, he does have an issue with the current Al Ittihad manager, but it was everywhere that he had an issue with what's his name, the Portuguese coach, the now coaches Nottingham Forest. So I'm not sure. And if anytime you want to come in, Phil Sips, just 1 second here. Firmino is a false nine. He don't score a lot. Benzema wages, bro, 3 million per week. I don't think we're able to pay that. So these the rumors are linking Chelsea with a move for Benzema may well be just all rumors. Firmino don't play a complete night. No, he's not. I think if you know him, you'd know that's the case. For 6 months, I'm not too sure. Firmino won't ball at Chelsea. Chances are that's the case. It's actually struggling at his current club in Saudi Arabia. I don't think they said. Well, he hasn't scored for like a million years right now. There must be some striker we can strike a loan deal for. How about Dusan Vlahovic with option to buy if he delivers? Chances are he wouldn't want to come to Chelsea right now. I don't think it's about money anymore for Benzema. You're the one saying that, and I'm quite sure that if he's available, Real Madrid will be the first to snap him up on loan. So I don't think he is. I honestly think Benzema would cut his wages just to get football out of Saudi Arabia. Would he come to Chelsea? Do you think? I don't think so. If we are paying Sterling 300 pounds a week, then 300,000 pounds a week, then Benzema must come. We'll find out. No way to Firmino, not even doing well in Saudi Arabia. Yep, he's been awful there. Hasn't scored for like 300 games. The Saudis, I'm exaggerating, of course. The Saudis said it makes the league look bad if he leaves. No, not going to happen, unfortunately. Hmm. Let's see what happens. Let us swap Stalin with Benzema. Do I see that happening? I say no. I see we haven't submitted a bid for Gyokeres 85 million. Yep, I think we've talked about that. But nice to see you, Namaya Forwell. I appreciate you finding the time to join. Would Bayern sell us a Kane? Then we can go and buy Haaland from Baby. That's not even possible. Breaking news: I have heard Bobby, the Chelsea board do want some experience now in this team to speed up the project. And I am and 1 point below European place. Chelsea want to help Poch. I'm not sure I understand that fully well. Apologies for that. Add Broya to that as well, possibly, but we'll find out.
Yeah.
Osimhen now in timer for a summer move. And this one says end vibe until the summer window opens. Go ahead, Bobby. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, I can believe that the board will look at experience, as long as they don't panic buy. But the experience we're looking at will be people like Osimhen, young but well seasoned. That's what we'll be looking at. Will we be looking at 28, 29-year olds? I I still very much doubt it, unless the player is exceptional. If someone like Benzema didn't have a bad attitude, as it
Mm-hmm.
seems, he's an exceptional striker, and and alone at Chelsea would be probably one compromise that the ownership would be able to make if it was reasonable in terms of his wages. But
Mm-hmm.
3 million a week is ridiculous. Nobody will want to pay that apart from the Saudis. So yeah, I can see them looking at a bit more maturity. Remember, they've been buying teenagers. Effectively, they bought Enzo as a teenager. Caicedo barely out of his teens. Mudrik, they bought him as a teenager. So, all these guys were teenagers, and they might be looking to up the ante and buy maybe 23, 24, 25-year-olds as mature players, as they did with Desassi. That I can see happening. But trying to fit out an outfit of people 28, 29, that sort of thing, I can tell you now, they're not going to do it. It's not their model.
Yeah, I don't think that they'd go for Benzema too, even for a loan. I'd be shocked if they do that. Chances are, if they want to, if anything, they want to sign a player and sign a player on a permanent, and not one that would be just on loan and be spending that much money on that player. Because yeah, I get it. We're fine FFP wise, but still, I think we're close to the line in my opinion. I heard we have links to Sesko transfer too. I've heard that too. Maybe on loan at Texesco with an option to buy because he's still young. Yes, we have links to every striker. Yeah, exactly. They are looking at Benzema by selling Malang Sarr, who is on 6 million a year, doing nothing. And when does his current Chelsea contract expire? Actually, Benzema is the main ambassador for the Saudi League as well. Yeah, exactly. So 6 million a year and 3 million a week is different though. In so many ways, yeah, you don't need mathematician to help you figure that out. Malang Sarr still at Chelsea. Yeah, he's still at Chelsea, but he's out injured, I think so. Keep dropping likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. 27 likes. We should be doing better than that. Let's move on to the next item we have lined up. Let's go. Is not made a beater for Victor Gyokeres. I think we've addressed that already. I'm not sure. I went back to ask a question. In 2025, so he still has probably less than 2 years left on his current contract. Of course, Benzema getting paid extra for ambassadorial role. Yeah, exactly. So Roma looking to buy Chalobah for 35 million pounds. Probably not now that Mourinho is sacked. So I don't think that's going to happen. Marlon if he can play left back, I don't know. I know that he can play left center back, but I'm not too sure. Lukaku is right there. Lukaku probably, the chances are Roma may not want to buy him again, as we've heard, because Mourinho is gone. Yep. Before we buy, it may be next week. Fabrizio said we are not buying players due to FFP, and we're not in a rush to buy players. I've heard him say that. We need to sell Chalobah, but who wants to buy Chalobah? Yes, Malang Sarr has played left back before, so we never know. The manager may want to give him a chance. This item here, Chelsea have inquired about taking Ivan Ferguson on loan from Brighton onto the summer. This is another horse doo-doo. And the shocking thing is Simon Philip, he just quotes it. How on earth, what is the possibility, the chances of Brighton letting Ivan Ferguson leave on loan? It's just I don't know. This is seriously laughable. I'm not too sure what to make of this. I don't know, Bobby. Do you have anything to add to add to this?
Well, just as I said earlier, if you want to sell a story, put Chelsea's name on it and add a few zeros. It's just clickbait. It's nonsense. It doesn't make sense. Not at all.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense in any way. I keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 28 likes. We should be doing better than that. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Not sure if Poch even knows he exists. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to see Lukaku at Chelsea. That's not going to happen. But he may well, again, the chances are at the end of the season, he'll still be a Chelsea player. That's because Mourinho is gone from Roma. And Roma's new manager may well look at Lukaku and say he doesn't want him there. And Lukaku, being an emotional player, except if you've been under the rug, but if you've been paying attention to his behavior, you'd learn that chances are, given the departure of Mourinho, he will lose his cool and start acting up again, tweeting nonsense, and maybe say he doesn't want to stay there. Loads of sources are saying that Chelsea haven't been cleared of over FPP. I think we have. I don't think I can. Under the new ownership, I can assure you they will not spend a penny without somebody, an expert behind the scenes, crunching the numbers and letting them know you can go to this extent and this is what you have to do to ensure you don't cross that line. Roma are looking
That's
at.
wishful thinking. They're
Sorry?
just wish. I said that's wishful thinking. They're just
Yeah.
wishing there's still a problem. There's no problem.
Yeah. You could argue a lot of people were hoping that that's the case. But yeah, we don't have any issues. It's clear. If we had issues, yeah, it would be one of the first names mentioned on the list of clubs that have issues with FFP. Yeah, nice to see you in the vibe. Appreciate you finding the time to join, brother. It's been a minute. I hope you're well, and hopefully the cases that you've been busy and nothing bad has happened on your end. Nice to see you, brother. Rubbish about the Ferguson rumors. Yeah, absolute rubbish in my opinion. This is what happens when no real transfer news. And I'm not concerned. I think we're actually working behind the scenes. This did not just start right now. These did not just start right now. And why do I say that? That's because last season, if you paid attention, last transfer window, summer transfer window, if you paid attention to how we operated in the transfer market, you'd see that we're like smoke screens. And we don't get to know that we're interested in signing a player until the players we signed. We only knew about our pursuit of those players until we were on the verge of completing the signing of those players. Cole Palmer is a perfect signing. The signing of Cole Palmer, you can argue the perfect example of what I just talked about right now. But I'm not too concerned right there. Let's see, the vibe is in the house. Evan Ferguson on loan. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. Coach, the danger sign is if a Ferguson does come alone, he will come with an obligation to buy, and you guessed it right, £100 million, or there will be no point. Brighton are not stupid, but we you can say we sometimes are, unfortunately, but I don't believe this. With who? From who? Steve K9 KS1 TV. It's absolute horse dung in my opinion. Or maybe Brighton, just as every other club, sponsoring this in case if we're truly interested in signing Ferguson, then we'll not go near them except if we have £100 million to pay. But I don't think it happens. Up Coachella, salutations. Monaco, nice to see you, bro. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding time to join the show. Yeah, that's a redonkulous because it's beyond ridiculous in my opinion. Big up, Coachella. Big up to you too. I'm seeing Mourinho on a third spell. Mark this comment. I don't see that happening. Not right now, at least. Not right now. Maybe later. Let's see what else we have here. There's no issue with FFP with Chelsea, and Chelsea turnover with 703 million, and second team is Liverpool, 302 million player sales. Big Benz wouldn't be a bad option for 6 months. It wouldn't be, but will it happen? I don't think so, really. Let's be honest there. If it's not on Jos's shopping list, I don't want to. How true Benzema is coming to Chelsea? All rumors at this point. The question is, will it make sense for us? Financially, I don't think it makes sense. But if we can, let's do it. I think it will be a decision that I think if you make that decision, I think it will work well for us. But that's just my opinion anyway. No more deals with Brighton. The chances are it happened 1,000 times. The question is, do they have the product we want? That's how I like to put it. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. 30 likes. We should be doing way better than that. Let's get the likes up. To the next item. Let's go. We start talking, addressing the games we have, our upcoming games. Let's see. This one here says, let's look at it. Sorry, I'm not showing the window here. This says that Chelsea are exploring the possibility of signing Karim Benzema or Roberto Firmino on loan in a bid to address their goal-scoring struggles. Both will not happen, and I think we talked about that at length. No need going back to it. I don't see it happening, but that's just my opinion anyway. And I'm quite sure all of you in the chat, you've all talked about that. But if you have anything else to say with regards to the possibility of Chelsea signing Karim Benzema or Roberto Firmino, who actually hasn't scored for, you can say, 10,000 games for his current club in the Saudi League, it's an issue. Chelsea savings and loans PLC in full effect. Charity FC, let's see. But they deducted Everton and Forest points. No, they haven't done that already. they've handed the issue to an independent body to further investigate it. Maybe I'm not. What's the language? I read something to that effect, but I'm not quite sure. Because I wasn't paying that much attention to it. Let's see what else we have here. Money talks. Yeah, maybe. ZS is the homecoming back to Chelsea. Reports are. I read something a few weeks ago to the effect of the possibility of him coming back to Chelsea because it hasn't really worked out for him at Galatasaray. But we'll see. I'm not too sure. But Jonas Sekoto, nice to see you, brother. Everton got dubbed twice by doing the same thing. They didn't learn their lessons. I think before the point deduction, whatever they've been charged, accused of doing right now, had already happened. Yeah. Bring in Jose, a sporting director, get rid of rest. Then we'll also see how long Poch lasts, taking orders from Jose. Let's see what else we have to the panel. Is it okay? To the panel, is it funny that Gary Neville has gone on about Chelsea so much about FFP, and now Premier League are getting stricter with rules? He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. A lot of people won't be happy that we're not. You can say that the reports came out and Chelsea went up in the list. Jordan Henderson is captain material. What do you think, Coach? I don't think the owners will get him. And these are any player coming back from Saudi Arabia. I don't think we'll be able to. You can say to pay them their salary. I don't think we'll be able to accommodate Jordan Henderson. Even though he'd bring leadership beyond, you can say, on and off the pitch. But no, we don't have space in the midfield area also. Even if we, again, his salary will be an issue, in my opinion. Yeah. Let's just leave it at that. What of Zeko on short-term Kuchila? How old is he? 70? How old is Edin Zeko right now? I'm sorry for making fun of his age. That's not me, really. But I don't think Chelsea will get Zeko. Probably too old right now. How old is Edin Zeko? But what a striker he was! It really can undercap it. He was an excellent finisher, and
he must be close to the same age as Thiago Silva.
Yeah, and you don't want that 37. Yeah, you don't want that from a striker. That's too much, really.
No.
I don't think Zeko comes to Chelsea. Let's see if Benzema he will get injured. It's not happening. Terry, Terry Football Terrace, reckons that the Premier League are just getting their house in order because the UK government are looking to take control of the Premier League. Hence the penalties issued. Really? Okay, I'm not sure what to make of that. Benzema wouldn't do a part of training. I don't think he will. I think
that's true. That's true. They're trying to. I don't know why, but they're trying to hand over the governance of the Premier League to an independent body, and the Premier League is trying to show that they have no bias in their rulings, and they're dishing out stringent penalties to prove that. There's politics going on there. Why they want to start interfering with the governance of the Premier League is because they've seen money. They've seen money. They want to tap into the money, and the Premier League don't want their mucky hands on it. In this instance, I support the Premier League. I am so against governments getting involved in everything, either by stealth or directly. This is a stealth involvement. And I think the Premier League are right to try and resist it. The only problem they have is because they're not the lawmakers, they are trying to prove that they are not biased to these people. The only thing I'll say to them is, yeah, you can prove it. You might drive them away now, but they'll come back. There's too much money happening in the Premier League for these vultures not to want to be a part of it. So they will find another way to come back.
Bobby, I don't mean to cut you off, sorry, but maybe if I say that, it will trigger you to say even more. I think if that happens, the Premier League in 2-3 years time will become a full-fledged political organization.
Oh, for sure. It will go that way. Anything that has money, everybody wants money, don't they? If you're a cash cow, they want to milk that cow. So it's a miracle the Premier League has managed to stay autonomous as it is. But even as it is, it's getting, shall I say, infiltrated at the moment by the money bags. They're not. It's not being milked for money, but money's
Mm.
being pumped into it. And there are outsiders that are looking at this, and they're saying, "Wow, we can have a field day here." And this is why I believe, I know this is a bigger topic, that the Super League in one form or the other is going to take place, because these big clubs are not going to be controlled by sharks. They're going to want to take off and do their own thing and protect their assets. It's politics all the way, bro. It's always going to happen with a big entity like this. It's sad, but that's the way of the world.
Can they fight it
Well,
legally? I
they're
think we had,
fighting it
sorry,
now.
quickly, we had DJ on the panel and I forgot to speak with him, and he doesn't know he can always come in whenever he wanted to.
Oh, DJ,
He's
is that
left.
DJ? Wow,
He was,
DJ
yeah,
Sav.
he's left. And
Oh
probably he
my
forgot he can.
gosh. You didn't
He
tell
probably,
me.
and I, yes, then I forgot, I totally forgot he was there, and he didn't know he can always come in. Probably was waiting for me to bring him in. But I hope you understand. But go ahead, Bobby.
Yeah, call him back, please. Gosh, DJ
I hope.
Sav, I
I
need
think
to.
probably if he's still listening, he should hear. But he should know he can always come in whenever he wants to come in. He doesn't have to wait for me to bring him in. That's the issue there. But go ahead.
Sure. I mean, look, they're fighting it by showing they're tough with their rulings. So you can't come and tell them, oh, we believe there's something underhanded going on here. You're too lenient with these clubs. Maybe they're paying you money and you don't want to find them. You've made these rules. You have to stick by them. In a way, that's true. There's no point making rules if you're not going to stick by them. So, what they, Premier League, are doing, and mind you, disclaimer, this is my interpretation of the situation. I repeat, my interpretation. If you want to look at it in a different way, that's up to you. But armed with the facts as I know them, I just see that the Premier League is trying to show that it's implementing its own rules and it's getting tough so that you don't have grounds to send in an independent regulator, which will come either via the government or either via somebody that's linked to the government or something. Everybody's trying to get in on the Premier League Act, and the Premier League is trying to preserve itself. Now, they are successful at the moment, but you and I both know that these people persist. They don't go away. They'll come back in another form, just like the European Super League. It's not going away. It's just going to come back in another form. Now, the only thing about this is that you bring an independent body that's going to bully these guys too much, they're just going to go do their own thing. Unless you introduce draconian laws that binds them or ties them into your entity. And then you're getting away from free trade, and then it
And
becomes a
just quickly,
global
Bobby, do you
issue.
see any backlash? Like Waldo is saying on the screen, he says that there will be so much backlash from fans if that happens. Do you see that happening?
It's
And if
possible
it if it
because
if it does happen, do you think it have any impact with with regards to them? You said not pushing ahead with the takeover.
if there's anything the Super League has taught us, is that ultimately the ownership of all this is the fans. And the fans are no longer that stupid. Social media and all these things have made the fans get savvy. The fans actually are people that have put up a yellow card at the moment to some media outlets like Sky and all this riding hard for particular clubs. Fans are saying, like myself, I'm fed up with it. Listen, mate, I pay you subscriptions. Why are you so biased? I'm not paying for your bias for Man United, as an example. So if you notice, they kind of pull back a little bit because they notice that the owners of what they do are beginning to get wise and are beginning to agitate. Now, if somebody suddenly comes in and takes over the governance of the Premier League from the Premier League and introduces a whole load of tough laws that punishes and restricts clubs too much, I don't rule out the fans kicking off. And if the fans kick off and say they're not paying to go to games, they're not paying to watch the Premier League via the TV and all these things, it's going to be one god awful almighty mess. And the fans have the power to do that. It's just they haven't yet thought of uniting to do that because the threat is not real. It's apparent at the moment. It's not happening. But you know, they need to tread carefully. They need to tread very carefully because one thing they don't want, and that can happen with the European Super League, is when you see Chelsea fans, Man United fans, Liverpool fans, Arsenal fans all getting together, you know you're in trouble because we can't stand each other. But if you're threatening our game, we will come together. And that's where the power is. So let's wait and see. There can be a backlash. It depends on how they handle it. That's my simple answer.
Yep, thank you so much. Let's catch up with what we have in the chat then, and I'll come back again. Let's see. This is saying that they. I hope so, and I hope again that deters them from the takeover. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Big cash. It's money. It's all about money. State-sponsored football. Yeah, politics. But then politics will you can say wield a huge influence on what goes on in the Premier League if that happens. Bobby, does this a conservative government that need that's going to drag us into politics, please. We don't need to do that. The Super League incoming. Let's see what happens there. Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but the UK government are whatever you say there. Disgusting. You said, yeah, if UK government takes over, I say bye-bye to the top six. Yeah. Let's see what else we have here. Sorry, Kuchila, got a chat meeting with work. We'll try to jump in. And apologies for not letting you in. And whenever you're on the panel, DJ, you're an OG here. You can always come in whenever you feel right. Don't wait for me to bring you in. The massive influx of foreign
Big up,
investment
DJ.
always.
Much love, my brother.
Yeah, much love. Yeah, the massive influx of foreign investment always attracts harbor sharks. Yep, sharks flux whenever there's blood, and in this case, money. And there's a charmer in the water. Yeah, man, I agree with you. Preach, Bobby, preach. Lots of love there for Bobby. Coach, just go away. Let's see what else you have here. This is what Coach. Yeah, I'm not reading that one. You're going to the H place, and you know UK government hates UK citizens hate our government at the moment with the influx of living living costs and everything. So coach, stay out of the comment. Just go away, you guys.
Can I say one last thing?
Yeah, go
About
ahead.
this? And to be fair, you know, to the government, since you know it's very easy to blame government, isn't it? I mean, the government already have a share of the cash cow that is the Premier League, because the Premier League will and do pay taxes. That's law.
And employ
And you know,
people.
yeah, and they employ people and all that, and the people they employ pay taxes, so they're already part of it. I don't think it's just down to the government. I think these so-called independent bodies, and yet again, disclaimer, this is my opinion, even if they are affiliated to the government, they are people that have seen an opportunity. The money that transpires in the industry of the Premier League, or indeed in the entire English football industry, is enormous. It helps drive the economy. And people are always going to want to dig into where they see the money. It's capitalism. It's just, shall I say, natural? Uh, you know, so if you want to keep your money, you got to fight for it. And this is where the Premier League is. The more money they make, the bigger target they have on their back.
Yeah. All right. Let's catch up here. And yeah, I get that. They are mafias. I totally agree. So let's move on from that. The first item here. Let's look at Chelsea versus Middlesbrough at home. We have to beat them to go through. Yeah, if we beat them by a long goal, I don't know, Bobby. What's the rule here? Does it go to penalties or does it go? Uh, uh, does the game go into extra time and before penalties or straight to penalties? What's the rule for the Carabao EFL Cup, Bobby?
I think if it ends in a 1-0 win to Chelsea, for example, it
Mhm.
goes to penalties straight away. I don't think they play extra time even in the semi-final because it was a two-legged affair and they're trying to avoid this excessive amount of football, which is a hypocrisy in itself because they already play an excessive amount of football. But you know what I mean?
Mhm.
I'll Google. Anyone can Google it, but I think if, for example, Chelsea
I
win
think you're
1-0,
correct. Somebody in the chat confirms straight to the
yeah,
penalties.
yeah. Oh, they've already done it. Yeah, it's straight to penalties as far as I know. If that happens, but we should avoid that, really. I mean, come on.
Mhm. Great prediction, coach. We have to win to go through. I wasn't predicting the 3-0 treat them like Preston. Dale Wilson, let's see. That's an extra time. There is okay. The vibe thinks it's an extra time if we ends in a draw. We have to beat them by 2 goals to nothing to by 2 goals to go through. So let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. It says that the warning signs were there during the pandemic. The financial impact of the lockdown on the Premier League was actually discussed in Parliament. Greedy politicians. That's because if anything happens to the Premier League, it will hit the pocketbook of the UK government. So it's simple, really, to tie that together. Official rules states extra time. Okay, okay, thank you for that. There is an extra time. Last round we went straight to penalties against Newcastle United. Um, so I'm not sure which is correct right now. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Okay, no penalties. So here's then. Let's look at the insights here. And I think by that time we'd have a few more players back from injury. We have the list has actually reduced. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, a few days for Romeo Lavia, which means he could be available for selection for that particular game. The list has reduced, in my opinion. We have Wesley Fofana, Trevor Chalobah, Romeo Lavia, Robert Sanchez, Reece James, Marco Correa, Leslie Ugochukwu, and Christopher Nkunku. Nkunku, we heard, he's working hard to be available for selection for that particular game. Poch doesn't beat Middlesbrough, and he will be in trouble. I've heard you say that 1,000 times. It's semi and final. In semi and final is a different. As over 2 legs. I'm not acquainted with the rules. So full time 3-0 Chelsea. You think it's gonna be okay? You're just asking that you want that to be the result. Otherwise, okay, let's see. Did Totti just get the Roma job? I haven't seen anything to that effect, but I'll be paying attention if that comes. If I see, I think Fabrizio will carry that, and I'll talk about it. So here's the insight. We have just 2 items here, so I'm just gonna vote. I believe Chelsea will win. We have 64% thinks Chelsea will beat them. 27% thinks Boro will beat us at home. And 9% thinks he ends in a draw. And whatever that follows. Insights here is saying we are unbeaten in 8 home games. I think our home performance, our home you can say form has actually improved really well against Mauricio Pochettino because it was awful last season. It was awful at the start of the season, but that has improved. We are unbeaten in 8 home games. That's a start. You can say the start to a good thing, in my opinion. Hopefully, we keep that going and win more by beating Boro at home. Yeah, because a draw will still mean we're still unbeaten at home, so we need to beat them and be to get you say but it's a good sign anyway that we've improved in that aspect. We were awful at home even for a few games after the start of the season, in my opinion. Chelsea and Middlesbrough have not drawn any of their last 5 matches against each other, which means most likely there will be a winner. And I'm guessing we will be emerge as the winners. We will go through to the final. And I'm serious about it. And I've said if we don't, I'll do a $50 giveaway. Remember that. If you haven't heard me say that, I just said it again, so don't forget. I think we will beat them. Let's see. Chelsea win against Boro. We want revenge against Liverpool. Yep, Middlesbrough very confident in beating us. That's what I want to hear. If they're confident in beating, they're gonna beat us. That's when I know that we're gonna beat them. It says on my news feed, it says Roma replaced Jose with a club legend, Totti. I didn't what a striker he was. Let me see. Let me check Fabrizio Romano and see if that's the case. I believe you if you're saying that has happened. Just give me 1 second. I'll check that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. We have 36 likes, but we should be doing way better than that. So please keep dropping the likes on the stream. Yep, I'm seeing that. So you, like I said, I believe you, and I'm seeing that from One Football app, which says Roma replaces Jose Mourinho with club legend. Let me open that fully. What comes to mind? Yep, there's De Rossi. Daniel De Rossi has been appointed at not Totti. You said Totti, or did you say De Rossi?
My only interest in that, coach, is will he be able to handle Lukaku?
Oh,
That's where our
yeah, I think he
interest comes
will.
in.
Italian managers don't take nonsense.
That's not the point. The point is, will he be able to handle him? If you don't take nonsense from Lukaku, that's no guarantee he won't give you nonsense, if you know what I mean. And then
Yeah.
sever the relationship. And we want him to have a good relationship with Roma so he can either go there in the summer or go to Saudi. We don't want
Yeah, I
him
agree
back
with you.
here.
Yeah, I do agree with you. So
I want him to be
go
happy
ahead.
and
Go
on
ahead.
form. I want him to be happy and on form at Roma. That will elevate him and make him an attractive prospect.
Yeah,
So I'm saying
Daniele De Rossi, when did he retire?
De Rossi would have retired. Oh gosh, in and around the same time as Totti,
He's just
really.
40. And Totti is 47. De Rossi is just 40. So probably a few years ago. Because I still remember him playing for Italy not a while ago.
You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. And he signed the contract until June 2024. So probably they want to test it out. So they want to test it out. If it's working, then he says. If not, they're going to let him go. Let's see. We haven't lost at home to Brentford since. We'll get to that in a bit. Let's see. Chelsea FC for the win. I believe we'll win. And that's why I'm saying 50 and train ticket. Yeah, De Rossi, not 30. Yeah. Both are club legends. Yeah, both are. But once you talk about Roma club legend, the first name that will come to mind is Totti. Yeah, Totti and De Rossi both are. Yeah, he's Italian, so he will whip Lukaku. And I want it to go well for them because if it doesn't work out, which means Lukaku will still be on our books come the end of the season, and they're going to sign him. Hopefully, he likes him. I hope so. Lukaku packing his bags now, possibly, but I don't want that to happen. It depends. Everything comes down to what De Rossi wants. I hope he wants Lukaku because they still have Abraham, but it looks like Abraham he's struggled with injuries of late, so not too sure what's going on with him. Poch wants Lukaku back, record next week. This is why we're not signing striker. No wonder Poch said we don't need a striker. I don't see that happening. De Rossi retired about 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, the same thing I was thinking because I can still remember him playing for Italy in recent years. Lukaku now cleaning his bench seat, possibly. I don't know. There's a chance he likes him because he's done well for Roma too. Remember, even of late, we've been hearing much of Lukaku than Tammy Abraham, but I don't know whether Abraham is out injured or something. I can't quite recall, but I've not been paying that attention to Roma's games. Both could leave To be honest, Tammy and Lukaku, it's a possibility. I don't know. So for this game, I still think Chelsea will beat them. They beat us in 5 games. They beat us in the last game. I think we'll beat them with 2 goals. I'm not too sure whether it ends 2-0, whether it ends 3-1. I don't know, but we'll find out. And yep, the only loss we have out of 5 games, they lost 2, won 3, and the last 2 games, one was against us, and the other one they beat Millwall. How do you pronounce? Is it Millwall? Or I don't know. By 3-1, and our last game we beat Fulham by 1-0. So I think we'll beat them, and I strongly believe that will be the case. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go along. Where I'm concerned, hopefully, honestly, I don't want Lukaku to come back to Chelsea because, yeah, he creates a serious problems. He will create a serious problem for us financially and otherwise. But I don't see that happening anyway. Who dropped the bomb and what sort of bomb did that person drop? So against, in the FA Cup after the Middlesbrough game, we have Aston Villa. They beat us in the last game, and this insight against them, unbeaten in our last home game, the same thing, and this is going to be our home. Aston Villa have won the previous 3 matches against Chelsea. Wow, I didn't know that. I think we will beat Middlesbrough at home, but I'm not too sure what's going to happen to this. Probably I'm gonna look at the team's form, recent form, how many goals they've scored, how many goals we've scored, and how many we've conceded, and how many they've conceded. Aston Villa, Tyron Mings is still out, and Lucas Dean is still out. Emiliano Buendia is still out, and Bertrand Traore will be out in a few days. The former Chelsea man there. To me, wow. This is concerning, really. The beating us in the last of previous meetings. Let's look at it here. Yep, they beat us 1-0 at home, 2-0 at home, 1-0 at home again. Wow. Wow, that's seriously concerning. Yeah, they beat us 2-0, 1-0. That's club friendlies. They beat us 2-0. We were home in the Premier League, and then they beat us 1-0 the last one in the Premier League also. But we beat them in 2022 2-0 away. So wow. And team's current form, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. They won 2, drew 2, 0-0 draw, and 1-1 draw. For us, we've won more than them. But that's not to say we're going to beat them for that. So that alone isn't enough. Let's look at it. We'll have to check how many goals they considered in the last 5 games, and how many we considered, and how many we scored. By the time we get to the game, probably the match preview proper, I think we'll have an insight as to you can say our average goals so far this season per 90 minutes, and theirs too. So let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go a long way. 37 likes. We should be doing way better than that. This is saying in September 2022, De Rossi was appointed as the manager of Serie B side. Spal, is that how you pronounce that? Or SPAL? He was dismissed on 14th February 2023, leaving them in 8th place in the Serie B table. So maybe he has some experience, but at Roma, more of an experiment. If he does well, I think probably he keeps his job. It's a night on the lights at home. We usually do well then. I've not been paying attention to that, and I know you're quite good with that sort of thing. The young kids can slip in ready for games unless Poch doesn't train the morning before. The morning of the game. Everyone, Emery looking to exact revenge for the Europa League final against Chelsea, where Sarri, you can say Sarri actually mopped the floor with Arsenal. I think it was it 3-1, and he will be scored for them. I remember Pedro scoring, Olivier Giroud scoring a header, and of course, it then Hazard scoring too. Emery, that may well be the case. He says, "Coach, it's so It's so cold, like cold Palmer. Yeah, some places are crazy. Chicago right now, I heard is crazy. Villa is on fire this season. They are, and deservedly so. They've done really well, and you can say on occasions where they win, where they didn't win games, they've been unlucky. They are a well-oiled machine, in my opinion, and people are slipping on them. Yeah, let's see what happens. Watkins versus Cole versus
Coach, can I
Cole.
say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Uh, to be honest with you, I know like I was supposed to say the game versus Boro is actually a must-win game, but judging on our performance these past couple of games,
Mhm.
it's not going to be easy as we expect because in order for us to go ahead and win, we need at least two goals with a clean sheet. And with the way we have been playing and the way we played the first game, it's just not as, as exciting seeing the way that we actually played like this weekend as well. Of course, I know we won and we actually defended pretty well, but the issue now is we need to be scoring, and that's something that we recently have started having some issues with, especially if the team is actually like a team which defends well. And usually, when we have a team which defends well, like what Boro does, because they basically figured us out, they
Mhm.
know that we can't actually play versus low block teams. And that's the same thing they are going to come and do. And I can actually predict that they are going to come and play defending the whole game. They are going to park the bus and they will defend that 1-0 lead
Yeah, they
with
will try to
everything
defend
they
it. Yeah.
have. So at the moment, I'm not so confident. Maybe with Villa we can win because one thing I noticed about Villa is that they they play well. They've been doing that this season, but whenever they are not at home, they're really they are really bad. You see the games which they play, away, they don't play well, but at home they can defend with whatever they have. And at
Mhm.
times as well, when they play at home, they actually have some horrendous games because if you actually watch the game which they played versus Sheffield, they had a hard time. They almost lost the game. If not for the header which they actually have by Zaniolo, they were supposed to lose that game at home. So I'm actually confident the game versus Villa we can actually win, but this one with Boro, I'm still having some doubts. Maybe if we can figure out how to score like we did with Preston, we have a chance to actually go forward and win,
Here's something I'm
with
gonna
clean
say
sheet.
now, Phil.
Yeah,
Unai Emery, he's an excellent tactician. He's not stupid, doesn't risk too much during games. He's so good that he's found a way to play even when he's playing defensive football, you think he's playing offensive football. And
yeah,
sometimes he doesn't risk too much. And here's then against Chelsea, I think he's probably well aware that we do struggle against teams that defend deep. I think he would do that and then hit us on a break. I think he would do that. He doesn't risk. He's not. He's can be pragmatic when needed, and
yeah,
he can be offensive when he sees he's not risking too much. Against Chelsea at home, I think probably they would defend him and try to hit us on the break when they see space. He's an intelligent manager. He's not overly again. Can be offensive when needed, can be defensive when needed. Bobby, let's say you these two games against Boro. What do you think? Phil thinks we're not going to win. We're not going to beat Boro because he thinks they will come to Chelsea and defend it and try to hit us on the break. Yeah, duh. I think they do that. But if our manager is smart enough, he'd know already that they're going to do that. I don't think they'd come at us. I think they'd sit back, try to hit us on the break, and score a goal, make it even more difficult for us. Because if they get the first goal, chances are at home we'll concede the third and the fourth. Bobby, do you think we'll beat Borough at home, or do you think whatever you think? Let us know. And do you? How about Aston Villa? Aston Villa. Let's hear you, Bobby. if you're there. So I'm gonna keep reading. Whenever Bobby comes in, I'll stop. Phil, were you still talking? I think you're
Yeah,
through,
yeah,
right?
sure.
Okay.
Like the first game, right? We played versus Villa in the beginning of the season. We
Mhm.
didn't lose the game because we didn't play well. We only lost the game because we didn't take our chances. And also the other thing that we actually that the thing which made us lose the game as well. Malo Gusto got a red card which exposed our right side, which meant that they were putting as much pressure on us because they knew we didn't have the right side secured. So I think that's how they actually capitalized and realized that we can actually push for at least a win, and a lot of mistakes as well. But as for now, I can actually say maybe I have a bit of confidence that with the way that Villa plays, if we can put a little bit of pressure, because I noticed Villa, they usually play from the back. You put a bit of pressure on them at the back, they have a hard time playing. I noticed their game versus Liverpool. Liverpool just started firing the shots, everything, and they had a hard time playing from the back. I think if we can use that same strategy with players like Modric, as well as players like Noni, who can actually transition, we have a better chance of winning compared to when we put other players who are not, as quick.
You can say we need more direct players on the pitch on the day.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and Nani, you can say he's. I don't think there's any other player at Chelsea that's as direct as Nani can be. But let me catch up with what we have in the chat. I cannot believe that Emery spent so little in the market, and yet they are balling like Brazilians. They play as a unit. But you cannot tell what games they'll be offensive minded and what games they'll be defensive minded. That's one thing that makes them very unique. That's why you could argue teams have found it difficult to play against them. Against Sports, they were so offensive, it was crazy. I think up to 5 goals were disallowed on that day. Yeah, that's they are very unpredictable, but that doesn't mean they're not unpredictable. They're not, you can say, unpredictable in terms of going from bad result to good result. No, they're unpredictable in terms of how they approach games. Sometimes they can be so offensive, sometimes they can be so defensive, and if they get a chance, they smoke you. They smoke you on the counter. Bigger fans, Bobby. I'm sure you heard what Phil said there about Boro. He doesn't think we can beat them, and if you follow his logic, I'd say yeah. But it all comes down whether our manager, whether we prepare well for that game, because definitely they will defend deep. The question is how would be, you can say, how will the manager find the perfect balance of being, you can say, staying on them throughout the game, and at the same time not leaving ourselves vulnerable defensively, because they will hit us on the break. And we were actually lucky that they scored just a single goal in the first leg. They could have scored up to two actually. So Bobby, do you buy the notion or the argument that Boro will beat us at home? And you can also talk about the Aston Villa game, upcoming game against Aston Villa at home. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I fully appreciate and understand everything that everybody has said, both about Borough and Villa. They are valid points. However, in my opinion, taking Borough first, I would rather Borough sit back than attack us because they have the physicality, certainly aerially, that could be problematic if they do attack. And if they sit back, I don't believe Chelsea have a problem breaking down low blocks anymore. They may have done with one or two teams like when Brentford came and so on, but they didn't show that frailty against Borough at Borough's ground. We opened them up. Chelsea's problem is finishing. That's the problem. If you finish, then you win the game. We should have and could have won that game by about 4 or 5 goals at Middlesbrough. Now, if they come and park the bus, well, that's another matter because they have the physicality to do that. Do they have the same level of organization as Brentford? Probably. So, yeah, it's going to be a very, very big challenge. It's going to be an issue to beat them. And just as has been said, I don't think it's guaranteed. I don't think it's clear cut. I think, not winning at their ground was a problem. But can we win? We can. Can we lose? We can. Who knows? It's a matter of which Chelsea will we see. So we can't be overconfident about Middlesbrough at all. We just have to be hopeful, as ever. Aston
Here's the thing,
Villa's,
just quickly before you move to Aston Villa.
yeah,
Question I have for you is this, Bobby.
yeah,
Clearly, when we play against teams that defend deep, our Achilles heel is usually finding a balance between being offensive or being on the team because they defend deep and also being defensively cautious. How do we find the balance on the day not to concede on the break? Because that would be the biggest issue on that day. Finding a balance of, you can say, of being on them the entirety of the game and also not conceding from them hitting us on the break. And if they score one before we score any on that day, chances are they score two more because we'll be more out, even more out to get equalizing goals and score more and then end up conceding more. But let's hear you, Bobby. How do we achieve
yeah.
balance to ensure that we don't concede on the break?
Well, the way to do that is, as I've said, finish your chances. Chelsea's problem has been that when they miss a load of chances and they keep trying to score, they then start getting despondent, their heads drop, they start getting desperate, and that's when they're vulnerable and can be hit on the break. But if we score our chances, the confidence will rise up, there'll be more alertness to preserve the lead, and we will be better off for it. Chelsea's problem is scoring before anything else, in my opinion. I think it's quite simple. Cole Palmer, as good as he is, those chances he missed, I hope is not something that's going to tarnish his season because it's not the time to miss those sort of chances in such a crucial and big game. So I hope he comes up trumps and he tucks away some and he buries that stain in his Chelsea career so far because you see, as much as you're a hero is as much as you can be a villain. And if we don't get through this will be that performance will be something that will tarnish his image at Chelsea for a very, very long time, if not forever. No matter what he wins, he will always be that guy that stopped us from qualifying to the League Cup at that time. So we need to get over that and we need to score chances. That's just my answer. Of course, the longer it stays, you're not scoring, you're getting desperate, you're with a young team that doesn't have the maturity to be
To be
patient.
patient and still seek for
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah, of course, it becomes dangerous. That's why I say we have to be hopeful. I'm not going with any sort of confidence at all into that game. Some people are fine. I think that's their prerogative. But for me, I just am hopeful, because I know that this is a fledgling team and it's inconsistent. And the players that we are meant to be relying on, these people getting a hard on that Nkunku's training and all that, they're still not fit. They're still not fit and they're totally match rusty. So, how much we can actually rely on them is left to be seen. So, we have to be hopeful. But moving on to Villa, the point made about Unai Emery and his tactical nous is absolutely spot on. We faced him in the Super Cup when we had Thomas Tuchel, and they gave us a bit of a headache. We beat them. I think eventually we went to penalties, if I remember rightly. I can't remember. It's been such a long time. Well, I don't know. Time just sort of makes you forget things, even big things like that. But you know, they played very, very well. They were a serious threat. Every team he's managed against us has been threatening. And we've only sort of used our marginally superior quality to win. Now, against them in the FA Cup, yet again, it's a matter of which Chelsea will we see. Because as much as we have struggled against them and Unai Emery, they have indeed struggled against us. And it's our clumsiness, red cards here and there, lack of finishing that causes us problems. I remember when Lukaku was on form and we played them on an even playing field, 11 aside, we actually took them to the cleaners. Lukaku really, I think he got 2 that day. So, what Chelsea will we see? Yet again, I go into that with hope, just like any game this season. I'm just hopeful. I'm not certain. I'm not going in with confidence because we're still in development. And all these players that we depended on to make the project progress are not ready. Even if they're on the bench, they're still not ready. They're not match ready. They're still getting fitness. And we're still basically treading water in terms of the integration of the team.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bobby. I appreciate that. And you wanted to talk about Villa. Do you think he will win that, or do you want to wait because they're beating us in our last out of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes? They beaten us in our last 3 meetings, 1-0, 2-0, and all of them at home. The 3 consecutive wins against us were all at home at the Breach.
I've just spoken about Villa. One thing two things I don't do, if I may say. I never give results, and I never really give stats as an inference as to what's going to happen in a game. I believe in 2 things. You're only as good as your next game, and you can only perform against what's put in front of you. I don't think stats really have anything to do with it. You can beat a team 100 times, but there will be that given day that you won't. Or you can lose to a team 100 times, and there will be that given day that you won't. And that might be the next time you play them. So I don't think stats really mean anything. I think it depends on how we apply ourselves on the day. And why I have hope, and I don't say confidence, is that if Chelsea apply themselves correctly, we can always turn over anybody. But if we don't, then we get into silly behavior, which means we struggle. That's just my answer about Villa. For me, it's a wait and see for both those big games, very big games in our season.
Two very important games, actually. I think we've started to do well in the Premier League, and I think that trajectory will continue. Just quickly, an important announcement. There's something I might do today. I don't know. I'm not too sure. And if I get to do it, I would temporarily take the Beautiful Games powers from him. So if you're a moderator and you want to ban him from the channel, you go ahead. I will enjoy that. I will enjoy that momentarily. Let's see how Aston Villa will put our weekend team against in the FA Cup. Let's see what happens there. And Mourinho back to United or Chelsea. I don't think United may well take him back. I don't know. Or Chelsea. Chances that I'm going to say this again. I think I've said it 1,000 times today. Mourinho and Maya, sorry that your messages have been deleted by Nightbot. Probably using too many emojis, and you're not a moderator yet. Mourinho's every step, every move is a calculated step. So chances are he already knows where he's going already. But we'll find out in due time. But thank you there. Villa will give us a different game. I think they will. I don't see a Villa playing a strong team because they don't need to. Let's see how you keep dropping likes on the stream. Middlesbrough are happy, are sloppy away, even when defending deep in. Poch uses a set piece against them. I hope we do that. I will never underestimate Villa in this game. Don't. It's a huge risk to underestimate any team. Respect every team. Emery is saying to his players, lads, it's only Chelsea. I hope they do that. Poch used nothing against them. Comment of the day from Coach. If our manager is smart enough, just go away. So I'm giving you a tool now to fight the manager. Is that what you're saying? But pay attention, everybody. I might take away Beautiful Games of powers momentarily. So if you have opportunity and you don't like him, just suspend him. Ban him from the channel a bit. The only way I accept defeat against Boro is if Poch gets sacked immediately. Wow. Go have fun, boys. Let's see what else we have. Yeah. I asked that question earlier, but Coach purposely skipped. Would we accept a loss to Boro? It depends on how we lose. Yeah. Because there are some performances when you say you did well enough, but luck wasn't on your side. Coach Delicious comment giving me let's go away. The last game of Aston Villa, we were 10 men down, and Jackson missed some good chances in that game. And Aston Villa way are easy to get through. Let's see what else we have. If anyone live around Cobham, please tell Poch that it's a serious game against Boro. Otherwise, Jose is already warming up his seats. Let's see. Why would we hope? And that's Vic. Vic is in the house. Nice to see you, Vic. Appreciate you finding the time to join. Why would we hope for a defeat? I haven't seen anybody say that. I think you're making that one up, Vic. Boro to guarantee Poch out. That's so unfair. Big up, Lord Dante. Keep it up. Nice to see you. Let's see. Great timing. Says Villa have fallen off. Have they really? I don't think so. In their last 5 games, they've lost just one, and that was a 3-2 against Manchester United. And you could argue they were unlucky. They drew 2-1-2. I wouldn't say they've fallen off. And look where they are. Where are they on the table, actually? Aren't they? I have to see. Where's the table right now? I don't want to close that. If anything, at most fourth or fifth place, but I'll check it in a bit. Let's see. This here says, let's see what else we have here. And we have Glenn Tan is in the house. Nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Glenn, I'm not sharing your predicted lineup on here. If anybody follows Glenn in the chat session, go check out his predicted lineup. He's having a go at our manager. But Glenn, nice to see you, brother. I hope you're doing well. Coach, don't forget we played their B team. You could argue that we will be fine, Bobby. We have our starting left wing. Chilwell is back. Chilwell will actually make a huge difference, even though he's not my favorite Chelsea player. We have Brett like Jackson and Broya who don't have the killer instinct to capitalize on their chances. Broya is picking up form gradually, and I think he would do well. But that's just me anyway. Let's see anything else. So don't worry. We have Captain Gallagher. Cole Palmer had one bad game, but people still think that he can play the number 9 role. I think he can. Had he scored the chances he had against Boro on that day, we'd be saying the discussion would be how much of a genius Mauricio Pochettino is. Yeah, in my opinion. But it's a fluid approach anyway, so it just doesn't matter whose position. Where I read an interesting article, I'm not reading that one. Enjoy it. I agree. Nkunku, people are still hyping him, and he hasn't touched 15 games for Chelsea. Yeah. Guess who came to mind? Yeah, you know that, really, but I'm not having that conversation with you. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go a long way. He came with a certificate of pedigree. Yeah, let's see. Anything else to address here? I was going to promote the blue to co-captain coach. Go ahead. Said it before. The only thing Mourinho will achieve here at the moment is high blood pressure and a bulging vein on his forehead. Yeah, I agree with that one wholeheartedly. I am sitting here minding my own business, and my wicked cousin just attacks me for no reason. Coach, that's a special seat for you in the H place. You, right? You're manning the gate of that H place in that. Just you. Hopefully, I'll do the experiment today, and if I do, I hope somebody blocks you for 10 days. See what coach did there. Still didn't read my question. Yeah, I'm not going to read that. I enjoy watching the Fulham game. Lots of positives to take going forward. I think we were defensively solid, and we overcame something. The issue of not finishing games well, and I was fearing we were going to concede. My lineup is solid, coach. It's my way of coping with things. I'm not sharing that here. You know that. Coach is sitting on the fence, Dante. He knows that. Let's say anything else. Give me Benzema and Jose, and all is forgiven. Could that happen? I don't know. But in my opinion, I'd say no. It will not happen. And I'm serious about that. But we'll see in a few days. But nice to see you, Kim. So I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join us. Let's see anything else here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. At least Jose would draw blood, not just a pressure like Poch. He's different. And I think a lot of these players will probably start going to church to ask God to give them strength to deal with Jose Mourinho, so you can say post-game shows, post-game talks, or pre-game talks, in my opinion. Let's see. So let's check now. Current form, we've looked at that. And how many goals have we scored in our last? Did we score in our last 5 games? We scored. That's one. That's 5 in total, and that's 8 and 10. 10 goals in total, and they've scored 1, 4, and 7. Oh no, 4, 6, and 7. So we've scored 3 more goals than them, and we've considered just we've considered a 1 here. Yeah, 3 in total, 4 in total. We considered 4 in total, and they've considered 3 4 in total here, and 6 in total. They've considered more. Yep, that's correct. Yep, they've considered more, because we considered just 2 and 3. They've considered 4, so 1 more. So if we're going by the numbers and teams' current form, you could argue they will score, but we will outscore them, and we'll win by a goal, either 2-1 or 1-0. That's just the prediction going by the team's current form. But I want to see more. I think going by that, the team's current form, I think we will concede. Likely, there's a chance we concede. But even if we concede, we'll outscore them. That is, but you cannot. But of course, bearing in mind that you cannot script football, if that makes sense. Big up. Panic bus driver Kimso. Yeah. Thank you for reminding us that. We already know a Chile left winger and Cowell left back. Time hasn't changed for us. That's because we haven't signed any new players, which means certainly we'll still see the same thing we've seen in a while right now. Leighton, okay, just having a conversation with him right there. We need a new left back about 6 foot, or we need an Eiffel Tower of a left back, or older experience, or what. I'm not too sure what we need there. All the soldiers in today's is a victory. Yeah, let's see. Coach, we have the best comments section in the league. They are prime 2004-2005 season Chelsea level. They are not going to be pressed into making mistakes by your instructions, tappings, or poor takes. Just go away. Would you ever agree that you're losing? We probably should stop with just getting embarrassing, coach. You think that's exactly what you think. I'm shameless if you don't know. I think someone should remind Poch that fullbacks and that tall. Look at Philip Land. Yep, and True Goat. Yeah. But the manager wants Eiffel Towers as fullbacks. To me, that's an issue in my opinion. But let's see what he does. Look how well Ian Maatsen did in his first game for Dortmund, and they're liking him already. But I'm glad that he's happy. Hopefully, he does well enough to help us get the 35 million pounds buy option on his current contract. But that's by the way. We move on to the next game we have to talk about. There, we've discussed 2 of these games. I think I have to go back a bit. Do we have the games here anyway? Here, no, I have to go back one. There you go. Let's go. And the third game. Let's see. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go along with 45 likes. We're not even at 50. And I strongly believe that we can actually do better than that. Did we see Martin for BVB? Wow, at left back. He was excellent. But the whole thing comes down to what the manager wants. And I'm quite sure if at the end, again, Poch starts faltering, if it comes down to the fact that we need to sign another left back, the owners will not be happy. I think that will cause a lot of issues for him. Maatsen cooking that position. Yep, if you don't know him, that's the only time you question his capabilities as a left back. Yeah, tapping by who? I or who? Let's see. Nkunku starts. We're not doing the match preview right now, which is you can say trying to look at our oppositions in our upcoming games and say, okay, can we beat them? We legit took that L. Let's see what else we have here. Coach, will there be at a time you're gonna need your 3-0 down with 10 men? Wow, that's some comment right there. That's because BVB player attacking football. Yeah, they have cojones for that. Let's look at the Liverpool game. I think we're gonna stop that. That's the last January game, and the plan was to always you could say to stop with the games in January alone and not go into February. Yep, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go along with 45 likes, 5 more to get it to 100 to 50. Let's make it work. Had I said that, now you'd see Constantine Dante on my case. So, yep, Liverpool. They have 2 players on international duty. Endo, the Asian competition. Mohamed Salah on African Cup of Nations duty for Egypt. Trent Alexander-Arnold, late January, and that game is January 31st. The chances are he'd be back in available for selection for the game against us, or maybe even if he's back, he's not going to be fully fit. Thiago Alcantara, he's been out for a while. Stefan, what's his last name? Is that I can't say it, and okay, and Joel Matip and Dominic Slobozai. Is probably available since the status says doubtful here. And yeah, Andrew Robertson, late of February. I don't think they have too many absentees except Salah. And you could argue they've been able to cope without him, in my opinion. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping likes on the stream. Dante, exactly. Yep, Cajon is there. The result is logical. 2-0. Let's see what else we have here. Draw is the best result against Liverpool, and has been the case for nearly all the games we played against them of late, except for cup game finals. Yep, the Premier League games have all ended in draws. Custom reserves or possibly. Let's see. We'll all know the pool game. Yep. Let's see. That's like a win for Poch. He lives for draws. So let's see anything else. Let me vote here. Let's see. Nothing to vote for here. No insights actually. Didn't I go to the game proper? I think I did. So we don't have any insights here. Yep. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. Yep. Cup game, EFL Cup. 11-10 on penalties. And this is also on another cup game final. Yep, FA Cup final, 6-5 on penalties. So they beat us there. So this 0-0, 0-0, 0-0. And if we expand it, there's been a lot of draws. Yep. And there's been, let's start from here. We beat them 1-0 away. That's it. And they beat us 2-0 at home. But from here, 1-1, 2-2, and the draw and draw and draw. So let's look at the team's current form. Just give me a second here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. How many likes do we have in total right now? 45 likes. 5 more to get it to 50. Let's make that happen, people. I think we can. Let me see what else we have here. I have to close this. It's not even showing current form. Why is that? So we may have to wait. We don't have all the information we need yet to say what we think happens in this game. But let's hear you in the chat. Bobby, the Liverpool game, what do you think will happen? Do you think they'll beat us? Do you think we'll beat them? Or do you think he ends in a draw? If you're there.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm there. I'm
Okay.
sorry to sound like an old record, but which Chelsea will we see? It's going to be a very interesting and insightful next few weeks, which whatever happens doesn't tell the story really. The story can't be told until probably about this time next season. We could beat them, we could lose, we could draw. They're blatantly obvious. But I really don't know. I go into that game with hope. Are we capable of winning? Yes, I think we are. As good as Liverpool are. The trouble is, will we? Can you hear me?
Are you,
Can you
okay,
hear
yeah,
me?
yeah. Yeah, crystal clear, Bobby.
Can you hear me, Coach?
Yes, we can hear you crystal clear.
Coach.
Yes, we can hear you, except if you have an issue on your end.
Can you hear me?
Phil, can you hear Bobby?
Oh, dear.
Yeah, I can hear him.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't hearing us. Coach, no, I'm not waving the flag yet. Good day to you, Coach, and all the commentators. Good day to you too, Phil. Let's see. I cannot hear it in his voice. He's let's see what we have here, Coach. What's the app you are currently using for the football results Premier League? I'm using FOTMob. So Bobby, go ahead. We could hear you at the time. Maybe you weren't hearing us.
Yeah, I wasn't hearing you. Somebody called me, and it's kind of throws me off when I'm using my mobile.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, which Chelsea will we see? Will our injuries be back and any more match competent? These are all the questions. But we can do it. Yeah, of course. Do we hope? Yeah, we have to hope. Will it happen? Well, that's left to be seen. However, I maintain that these next few weeks will be very interesting. They could actually probably make or break the season for us. But however it turns out, it's not the end of the story.
Yep. Phil, how about you? What do you think?
Uh, Usually the games between us and Liverpool are usually kind of a bit boring, in my own opinion, because most of the time it's usually a draw. But if we have to talk about this game, it's a pretty important game for us. So if we can actually beat them, it's going to make a very big statement,
Mhm.
in my opinion.
Yep. If you're in the chat, let's hear you. What do you think the outcome will be? And beyond that, we'll be addressing your questions. And the CFC jingles is in the house, and that's my bro Jude Mesala. A lot of people, Mesala, nice to see you, brother. Please, let's go help him grow. From Richard Money Makers to Constantine Dante to Maya, to all of you. If you haven't, please go check out CFC jingles and subscribe. Let's help him grow and get to 1,000 subscribers as soon as possible. Listen, selflessness is the reason why we're growing as quickly as we're growing, and the more we help each other grow, the more we can grow our fan base effectively and quick. We need a result of there. No Salah for them. That's when I'm concerned. Yes, I'm going to say this really. I don't know if anybody thinks the same. I fear what's his name, the former Wolves guy. What's his name? The Portuguese international, than Salah, and that's because Salah is predictable. Yeah. But what's the name? The guy I'm looking for. I fear him more than I fear Salah because Salah
Jota
is predictable. Who?
is Jota.
Sorry, what did did say the name?
It's
What's the name you
Jota.
said?
Diogo Jota.
Diego Jota. Yeah, I fear Jota more than Salah. That's because he's unpredictable. But Salah is very
Yeah.
predictable, and if you plan well for Salah, you can stop him. Bobby
And
will
Luis
replace. Go
Diaz.
ahead.
Luis Diaz, another dangerous player they have.
Oh
They have
yeah, Diaz is very
Gakpo.
dangerous too.
They have all these
Yeah.
players, but we have players that can neutralize them. We really do. Luis Diaz is perhaps the most elusive of them all, but even he can be restricted. As I say, it depends on which Chelsea turns up, but we're very capable of beating them.
Yeah, I think we're capable of beating them in all honesty. 4-0 to comment. Bobby's own goal. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Klopp knows how we play, and Pochettino should know how they play too. Against Liverpool, you will get a chance. If we can be clinical on the day, I think we can beat them. That's because you always get a chance against Liverpool. They play a high line. They don't know any other way to play. They only change their approach towards the end of the game. If they see that there's a chance they lose, they defend. Yeah. Coach dropping soldiers everywhere. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. Cut to Bobby for taking a call during our show. Let's see. Bobby, there's a question for you. Okay, you can drop your questions right now. The question for you says, Bobby, do you think it was fair that Frank Lampard being at the Fulham game with Todd Pauly that may have a Poch nervous of his job? If that makes Poch nervous, then he shouldn't be Chelsea manager, in my opinion. But Bobby, let's hear you. That question was for you.
Yeah, I don't think that means anything. Lampard has a good relationship with the owners, with the players. I think is he the new Birmingham boss?
I'm not sure. He doesn't have a job yet.
Okay, well, he's always, shall I say, um, filtering around Chelsea, seeing what he can learn, seeing
Mhm.
what foothold he can have, seeing what players he may be able to take on loan if he goes to another club. So that's not unusual. He was an interim manager. Does it mean he'll be interim manager again? No. But if the club call him, he's one of those that will always answer the call. He, John Terry, and so on. So I don't think it has anything to do with Pochettino. I firmly believe, and if you had watched the podcast yesterday with, I don't know who ran it, but Ben Jacobs was on it. Fabrizio even came on. It was really a very insightful and decent conversation. And nobody who understands football can see these people getting rid of Pochettino. Not this season. Now, his job will be at risk if he doesn't get into the League Cup final. I believe that because that really is an opportunity thrown away, and somebody has to be held responsible for that. Not that it's necessarily his fault. He didn't miss those chances, but being the manager, you carry the responsibility. But will they sack him? No. Neither will they sack him if he doesn't get through Aston Villa. They will steady the ship with him at least until the end of the season. That I'm almost 100% sure of, because it makes no sense doing otherwise. If he succeeds in these crucial games, Villa and Boro in particular, he may have bought himself time to stay a lot longer than just one season. So seeing Frank Lampard there, whether Poch is still at Chelsea at the end of the season or not, I don't think it has anything to do with anything. I don't think the management will be looking at Frank Lampard going forward if they're going to make a change.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Phil, you have anything to add to that question? Any 2 cents on that before we move on?
Unfortunately, not. I think Bobby just summed it all.
Mhm. It just doesn't make sense. If he's bothered by it, then he shouldn't be Chelsea's manager, in my opinion. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go longer. We're getting closer and closer to the end of the show. 47 likes and 802 views in the back end. I think we'll get to 1,000 of views by the time we end the show. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Super Frankie. Let's see. Great move by Bolly. A press watcher back. I don't think that's the case, actually, but maybe it was. I don't know. We don't win games against the Big Six. We only draw. At least that's something. And while you are at it, please sub to us. It's the channel Soccer Perspective. Please let's help that grow and get to 1,000. I wanted to do a preview of the African Cup of Nations, but yeah, I can't find the games anywhere. And yep, please go check it out. Subscribe. Let's grow that particular channel. Lateness is greatness. Big up to Gallagher Perspective and the panel. Just go with Chimera. But nice to see your brother Luis Diaz. Yeah, he's good too. I'm gonna make a sum on a Liverpool game. Well, then a super chat for coach. Okay, let's see what happens. We could literally beat any team in the league if we had the right gaffer. But because we don't, it's a lottery, and that's just the team selection. You sure you're not betting against Chelsea somewhere? Let's see what else we have here. Jesse also needs some cash for Yosef's banner. Yeah, he needs that too. Yeah, let him hijack the money. Keep dropping the likes. So thanks for your answer. Um, we need a left back. I think we've answered that before. I don't think we need a left back right now. I'd rather we play an academy kid because we still got Benchwell is back and Gusto can play left back. And in case Gusto plays left back, what's his name? Gyokeres can play right back. Dissect can play right back. So yeah, I'm not gonna contribute to the Jose Mourinho banner in my opinion. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people, and if you have any questions, go ahead and drop the questions. I'm gonna see if there's anything else that's popped up that we need to talk about, any news, and we will if there's any. But if not, if you have any questions, drop it in the chat. let's try and address it. Lo and behold, okay, some news from Phil there. So, Bobby, let's read this one if you have anything to add to it. Um, let's see what else he says here. This is saying, Bobby, this here is saying the Premier League investigation into Chelsea is ongoing after the new owners self-reported issue from the previous ownership. To me, I don't think they will punish us for that. I'm still saying that. If anything, they will. You can say it will be a monetary fine, but in terms of points deduction, I don't think it will make sense. The owners will sue the heck out of them because this. Yeah, they self-reported that, and you can say that. Let me just leave it at that. But let's hear what Bobby has to say.
Yeah, I mean, I visited this and spoken out against the thirst, the thirsty mongers out there looking for Chelsea's detriment. You know, all that is a lie. Nobody's looking into anything. The process is there. It's not. Look, Chelsea submitted the results of an audit, like any other honest, transparent business would do. The publications from that audit showed some potential misdemeanors from the previous ownership. Now, if you're thirsty for some kind of points deduction or penalty on Chelsea, fine. If you're that vindictive for the football authorities to do that, fine. If they are themselves that vindictive to do that, regardless of whoever is looking at them, fine. But I can assure you that if I were Chelsea, and these are very, very smart people, if you dare do such a despicable thing because of our transparency, I will take you to any which way court that exists to challenge you. The Court of Arbitration for Sports will find it spurious. There is no court in the land that will not, or anywhere, that will not look at this and think, this is a bit odd. This could be, well, a little bit dictatorial, because these people have submitted an audit. This happened when they were not there. And if you want to talk about punishment, those that were guilty, for want of a better term, have already been had the club taken away from them for nothing. So where do you go with this madness? It's insane. It is absolutely insane. I'm not saying it's not possible, because the thirsty mongers, can wish and push it into existence. But I think that would be one of the most despicable and ridiculous things ever to happen in football. And the outcome is, this is the sort of thing that new landmark rulings come out of, like the Bosman and so on, because you're overstepping your mark. A football governing body is not a trade dictating institution. They are not the Ministry of Trade in a government, in a continent, anywhere. They're just a football governing body. All Chelsea did was declare an audit. They audited themselves like any good purchasing ownership should do. And you want to punish them for that? That's insane. It's outrageous, if you ask me. And the club will be, I would definitely support the club to sue and do anything they can to the Premier League. It's out of order. If that happens, and I don't think it will, it doesn't make any sense. Now, they may get a warning based on their findings. Hey, look, don't go and do what the previous ownership did. That's acceptable. But a punishment? Think about it, coach. On what grounds do you have to punish them for showing you their books and showing you what happened when they were not there? It was not under their control. What, they shouldn't have bought the club because of that? Is that what you're saying? Then why did you give them the license? Why did you say that they are a fit and proper establishment to buy the club? Do you see what I mean? It is a minefield. The Premier League will be fools to even go there. They should look at the findings, take the outcomes of the audit, and declare learnings from the audit. The audit should be there to establish learnings from the outcome of the audit. And the learnings will be based on those somewhat misdemeanors that may have been found from the previous ownership, and be sure that you're not going down that same route. That's all I can see that can happen with this one, coach, honestly.
Yeah, let's see what happens there. Coach, I'm hearing that we're selling Cuckoo in the summer. Here's what I think. I think that depends on how he does by the time we get to the summer transfer window. And I think so far this season, before his injury, he was one of our best players, in my opinion. But we'll find out. Bobby speaking, I see if the world is not a transient step up of it left way behind. Roman did a lot to beat the psychological barrier to winning, just a throw all the way. Okay, if that's how you feel, but I get where you're coming from. Let's see what else we have here. But I'd like to see you at Deborah and Mark and Drew. I hope you're doing well. And this is for you, brother. Thank you. You really just go away. The Premier League
Coach, can I
directors.
say something, please?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just one more thing about this matter, and then I'll let it drop because
Yeah,
it's
go
not
ahead.
really worth it. If, for example, you decide, oh, okay, Chelsea perspective, I'm not going to run it anymore. Who wants to come and run it? And I say, okay, I'm going to come and run it, coach. And I take over Chelsea perspective. Hypothetically, I'm not saying can never happen, but hypothetically. And you have been very abusive to some of the members of the chat and so on. And when I take over Chelsea perspective, I look through the records, and I see where you've been abusive to the members of the chat, and I publish it and I say, hey, look, these are things that didn't quite go right. I'm now in charge. I want to run it this way and make sure that doesn't happen again. Now, would it make sense for anybody, even those that are offended, to turn around and say, okay, because of what coach did, I'm going to take it out on you, Bobby? It makes no sense. I know I give silly, almost spurious examples, but I'm just trying to highlight the logic and how ridiculous it would be to punish Chelsea for the findings of their audit. It is so unethical. It's so unethical that it's just outrageous. It's just unheard of. It doesn't mean to say it can't happen, but what I will say is that if it does happen, there has to be consequences. There has to be. The club can't just sit down and take that shit. Sorry, excuse my language. Just can't take that nonsense. It's absurd. I'm sorry. I'm quite passionate about it because it's such an injustice. I can't see how anybody can even conceive of it being acceptable. Sorry, I had to make that point.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Just throw it away. Let's see what else we have here. Are you really gonna? Yep, I did, and you heard them. I've read that one too. This says that Premier League directors, the Premier League directors see them as billionaires. They are desperate to pull us down. They want the piece of the pie. Mafia for real, just like the Bluetooth game called them. Coach, I bet if a Brighton sign a Barco a year or two from now, Chelsea will spend a next 100 million. Will buy him from Aston. I think it'd be difficult for us to spend that much money on a single player in the next 2 years. You're not paying attention to what the Oilers are doing, but that's just my opinion. It take a lot for that to happen. Listening to Bobby, I'm making it. I am making asking to print Bobby's name on the banner as well. Okay, we need a Bobby banner. Let's see. If we plan on selling Cuckoo, we should sign a Barco and loan him out until next season. I don't think we're planning on selling Cucurella. That's just my opinion. Okay. Just thank you for acknowledging that. Bobby for Prime Minister, I really will vote him. Bako is very good. I can play anywhere on the left. Okay. Coach still not paying up. Nope, I'm not in for the banner, for the Jose Mourinho banner. We take it out on Coach already. Well, yeah. Bobby and Jay, my fellow 2A. Jay, nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. And Vic here is saying it's not an injustice. The owners purchased the club with its liabilities. Chelsea is now run by a different people, but it's the same entity. That logic makes sense, but I think the owners can, they can say they can, the fact that we're under a new ownership, and the fact that they didn't wait for the Premier League to discover that themselves, the fact they self-reported the issue, I think should be considered, and probably that will go a long way. But I definitely understand where you're coming from. Big up to you. The Prince is here. The Prince, nice to see you. I think I've explained to you every time I say the Prince is here. That's because every time I see you, I remember the bench, even your DP, and the name the Prince. Mourinho is available. What do you think? We've talked about that. I don't think the owners will move for him, and I don't think he's the man for the job, in my opinion. He won't last a day on the job, and then he'll start having issues with the Chelsea hierarchy. If you're there, if you have any other questions you want to answer, drop it in the chat and we'll do our best to answer the questions. Or if there's any updates you've seen out there you think we should know about, please do bring it up. Would be glad to look at it. Let me see anything else. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Todd Bowley and Mikel Obi met at the FIFA Best Awards last night. Okay, probably they'll have a conversation beyond just shaking hands. There's a picture there. Yeah, I'm fearful of showing the Twitter timeline on the screen here because something we don't want to see could pop up there. The Premier League, okay, we've read that one too. Let's see, a full day. Hopefully, Mikel told him about Victor Osimhen, and you can say persuade him to move for him right now, and try and get a pre-contract agreement with them, and promise him to help do that, like he promised on one of the episode of his shows. A full day of a Chelsea Twitter talking about Jose Mourinho. Where I stand, I cannot see Jose working with the current Chelsea model. The fact that it's a topic means things are not working out well at the club. Yeah, simple logic, really, in my opinion. Chelsea have not submitted any bid for Victor Gyokeres. I think we've addressed that one too. Keep dropping likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. We'll be rounding up soon. Let's see anything else. If you have any questions, please do drop it in the chat. We have about 8 minutes to round up. We're not going to go beyond that. Let's see what else we have. Yep, the Prince is here. Let's see anything else to address. Vic here saying the Premier League has the right to punish Chelsea, but the ownership will hope for leniency for self-reporting, which was the same thing I said. Yeah, that's what we're saying. I think our argument is based on the fact that we self-reported the issue. Jose is not for sale. Let's see what else we have here. Yes, I don't think Mourinho would suit with our current squad. The project overall. Yep, keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go along with. Sincerely do appreciate you all. I wanted to do something today. I think I'll leave it for another day. I would be horrified to see what I would find in Coach's Chelsea Perspective account that's undisclosed payment to that tapping coach with will be your downfall, bro. Oh, you're going to that place, and you do know that anyway. This says Jose went to Dubai for a holiday. He probably will meet Ateta eating steaks there. Yep. Let's see, and the Salt Bay, possibly. Let's see what else we have here. No need for extra time, coach. Yeah. Give me a second here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. And if you have any questions, drop it in the chat. Excuse me. Otherwise, we will be calling it a day in a bit. Yeah, we've talked about. We're not going to go into the next games because the next games don't have insights, which usually help us. Which usually help us. You can say predict the outcome of a game, and yeah, the subsequent game doesn't have that beyond. I think beyond the Aston Villa game. Self-reporting only gets some leniency, but not off, not to get out of jail, not a get out of jail card. But to some extent, I think that should be enough for us not to face a point deductions, in my opinion. But we'll find out. Let's see what else we have here. Talking to Victor's agent right now it's a challenger, but Chelsea is not stopping to push the deal with the Osimhen. We have Didier Drogba whom I believe that Victor Osimhen respects very well, and John Mikel Obi. And for Miguel to have met Todd Bowley on that occasion specified there in that particular report, I'm sure they had a conversation about that. And the Blues, you mean like all the rigged posts? Yeah, let's go ahead. Let's say Dante, they might give a little financial penalty, better than points deduction. I don't think it would be points deduction in my opinion. Bobby, anything else you want to talk about before we call it a day? How about you, Phil? While we wait for Bobby, do you have anything else you want to talk about? And if you're in the chat, you have any questions, drop it. We will be rounding up in about 4 minutes. We don't have too much time, and I don't want to go beyond that. Bobby, go ahead. It looks like you're ready to speak.
Yeah, sorry, I always struggle sometimes with my unmute. I really don't have anything else to add, Coach. I think you've addressed most of the key issues, the key current issues at the moment. We look for how we prepare for the game against Boro, who's going to be back and available. And, I don't even want to say the blatantly obvious as to what we have to do in that game. Whether we do it, well, let's wait and see.
All right. How about you, Phil? Anything else? You want to add anything?
No, nothing else.
No, I don't have anything else to add.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Bobby. You wanted to add something because sorry.
No. I was just saying nothing else to add. Much love to everybody. It's always good. Always a good show, Coach. Always a privilege to be part of your show. I don't take
a privilege to always have you on the panel, Bobby. I appreciate that. But go ahead.
Thank you. That's all from me. And big up to everyone else on the panel.
Big up to you too, and thank you so much. And before we call it a day, I'm going to get the final comments in the chat there. And my fellow 2 a.m. guy, nice to see you. Nothing little J. Let's see what else we have here. The French journalist doesn't like a Poch. Does he, Bobby? I think we've talked about that before. Chelsea have 100 million left over to pay a fine if guilty. Let's see. We will know in the future. We will find out in the future. Easy winner up for the chat today. No context, really. Take care, you two. Great show, guys. And we again 1 point. Okay, let's see what happens there from catching up with Manchester United. Great show, says my assistant there, Santiago Muno. I appreciate you finding the time to join. Yep, investigations are still ongoing, Coach. Yesterday. So with that, I want to say thank you. We've come to the natural end of the show, and I want to say thank you to Bobby for finding the time to join on the panel. Thank you to Lenfield, and also thank you to DJ. He didn't have the chance to stay longer than he did, but we sincerely do appreciate you. Thank you, Constantine Dante, and thank you, the Blue Tiffle Game. Thank you, Santiago Muno, Rich Money Maker, and who was in the chat. Thank you, Maya. Sincerely do appreciate you there. Vic, appreciate you. Chimera and Big Z, appreciate you all. And if I miss your name, apologies, I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and cheers.